All right. All right. It's what's today?
The 27th.
Friday.
It is not Friday.
It is not Friday.
You sure?
Not Friday at all.
It's not even Thursday yet.
Pretty sure it's not Friday.
So
damn. I thought that was going to work too.
It could have. It could have worked. Anyway, it's Wednesday, January 27th. It's GameEnthus podcast episode 425. I'm one of the hosts here, Aaron. Tiny's here.
Hey, I am here. And I really enjoyed our Game of the Year podcast.
So did I.
I know it was our first podcast in like 2 months.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Just sneak it in there. Mike is here.
Glad to be here, sir.
Good. It's good to see you.
Well,
You being clocked and all.
I love the irony.
Yeah, and I'm like irony. Some good, delicious irony. Anyway, that's enough about us. We have a guest this week. He's back once again to share his sometimes controversial, but normally not too far off from the truth opinions. Welcome back, Lance.
Hey, what's happening? And I you know what? I might have something controversial. I don't know. I don't think so. But I'd be curious to hear what you guys think.
See, if you thought it was controversial and you still wanted to say it, that sounds like trolling.
I think Luna and Stadia should join together. I don't know. It's like take over the industry.
I think the future of streaming is Plex. I mean, what? So.
Plex server.
Yeah, I might have something. We'll see.
Okay.
Well, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
Well, just living life. My birthday was yesterday. So
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, sir.
Birthday.
Thank you. I'm an old man now, 43. But most people tell me that I don't look 43. So
Hey, go with it.
yeah, I'll go with it. That's Africa at work, I guess. That's what they tell me. You've heard that before, Aaron.
My whole life.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Even though I'm growing up, I'll continue to hear it.
Yeah, so that, just, going to work. Nothing, since COVID hit, nothing's changed for me at all.
Like,
Literally. I mean, I just, go to work is, because my job is considered essential. Mm-hmm. And, I need to be there and we wear masks and man, it was going pretty good until I would say about September. And then people start getting it at my job. It's been a lot of people that's had it at my job.
Oh, wow.
That's not good.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Have you stayed away from it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thankfully, the job that I do, I'm not really around people, which I love because I hate people. So.
All right.
It's a winning combination.
Yeah, it really is. So, but when they do come around, I'm always masked up, and even in the break room, sometimes, like if I'm not eating, because I get 4 half-hour breaks, I'll still keep my mask on. I'm tired of the smell of bleach, but I'd rather deal with that than than getting this COVID.
I mean, I guess I hate to be that guy, but are there some health concerns about consistently smelling bleach in your work area? What's that?
I don't know.
Not that it's worse than COVID. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, it's diluted with water, and you know what the thing is, I work in a place where there's chemicals anyway, so the bleach is the least of my concerns. So
the sulfuric acid is much more of a looming threat.
I mean, there's all types of coatings and things that they use, and
gotcha.
I'm not around that stuff, but they have a filtration system there that's supposed to get all that stuff out, but so I'm not worried about the bleach and stuff like that, but just trying to stay healthy. I mean, I'm so glad that my wife doesn't work there anymore. Okay. She's retired.
Really?
So,
wow.
Oh yeah. God, how long has it been since oh God, it must have been a long time. Yeah. My wife.
How many years has it been? What is this?
I know. She had worked there 17 years.
Wow.
And I just made 15 years there. But we got, since we got the house paid off and the cars have been paid off forever, she had always been working towards that goal. she never,
she got there.
so right. Yeah. So, we can just survive off of my income and, so she don't have to work anymore. And I love that.
That's all right, man.
Yeah, if you can make it work, that's awesome.
Right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother reality, man. And I mean, I obviously I'm not going to inquire, I'm not going to inquire too much, but this is somewhat of an early retirement. I guess it would seem like. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. She worked real hard to, she came up with a plan, set some goals, and, we made lifestyle changes and things like that. But it never ever felt like we were giving up anything. We still enjoyed life. I mean, like like you see in the notes, I mean, I got my basement refinished. I mean, so we're still living life and stuff like that. So,
That's what's up.
Well, good stuff.
That's all right.
Yeah. Been great, So, I mean, and it came, because let's see, when was that? I think that was the end of 2018.
Mhm.
Yeah, that November of 2018 when she, retired. And then, so that was perfect, because, I mean, she has asthma, so she is in the high risk area.
yeah.
So,
That's a good thing. That's for sure. Yeah.
so it's all worked out really, really well, as far as that.
Taking up any hobbies or interests that she wasn't doing while she was working since she's retired now, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I mean, she was working part-time for a little bit, but that was mainly because her mom had passed away. And she just needed an outlet, but no, she just mostly keeps up with everything, with, the financial news and, things like that, all the trends and stuff. She's really, really, well, I shouldn't have to even say it, but she is really, really good with money. So
Clearly,
That's right.
she is really, really good with money.
I mean, she just has a understanding for it and knows what to do with it. I mean,
That's what's up, man.
yeah, and I just feel blessed to, have her. And, I always, knew even when we were in junior high, she was real smart and good with money. So I'm not shocked, but yeah, it's just worked out real good. And, I'll get to retire at 55 and it's going to be good.
Yeah, I was gonna. That was my next question. Was like, what's your first thing? Like, now do me. Like, I'm next.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all right,
So
man. That's what's up, man. That's very encouraging. That's
yeah, it can, if you just set goals and, have a good plan, it can be done, I mean, paying off this house. I mean, that was a big one,
Okay.
but, yeah, so it's just been that. Like I said, got this basement remodeled and
You've
fixed
been
up.
working on that for a while, haven't you?
you had
Yeah,
some
because-
water issues before, right? But
Because someone had drove into our house back in 2008,
That's right.
and then that caused a crack that didn't really manifest itself until 2017.
Right.
Why do
And
we
then
know
it-
so many people that have had cars driven into their house?
Yeah, right.
Like, I feel like we might be a real curse on people, guys. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well,
Like,
when it's at least two people, you think it's a trend.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. Unfortunately,
I mean, it's just but then we got it. We got the crack injected in 2019,
okay.
and then this past summer in August, we had some people come in, they gave us a good deal and got the basement finished. And, true to my wife's word, she always said, hey, if you, once it gets fixed up, we'll just get you new stuff. And whatever you had in the, whatever we took upstairs in the living room, just keep it up there. Cause she's like, she just wasn't going to move that stuff back down. So she's like, you just get new stuff. So.
and you weren't gonna talk her out of that. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I can live with this.
I was like, okay, deal. You know what I'm saying? All I had to do was just wait. Because originally we weren't going to do anything to 2023, but, things worked out, earlier. So bought a new TV and some new speakers and all that good stuff. So, Yeah. Yeah. It's I bought a 77-inch Sony OLED, and
Nice.
I had them put that on the wall. Yeah. That's on the wall. They did the tech tube and, wired up. I didn't do anything. I just refuse to do any of that stuff anymore. I'm done with it. So I was more than happy to pay them to do the tech tube and put the speaker wire through the, walls and all that crap that they need to do.
Nice.
So,
see, I like doing that kind of stuff, but a 77-inch, I'd be like, I ain't messing with this. I know what I will try to do. I'll say, I got this. And then the next thing I know, the TV's on the ground. It's shattered. And I'm like,
is that a
I
jigsaw
don't like
puzzle?
this.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I made mistakes.
Yeah. So, I because I kind of knew what I wanted for a while. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And I bought, there was a special bracket that Sony makes for some of their TV, so it lays even flatter on the wall or whatever.
See, this sounds like something Sony would do.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though. Once you saw that bracket in comparison to the regular brackets you can get, it's like, yeah, I'll pay extra for that because it just makes it sit on the wall even flatter. So now it's like a picture frame instead of, I can still move it.
See, you got me to turn around and look at my TV that I mounted on the wall, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good 6-7 inches away from the wall.
Yeah.
How about
what did I do?
So
honey, I need a 77-inch Sony with a specialized bracket.
If it's good enough for Lance, it's good enough for me.
Also, I need to knock down one of the walls to make a 77-inch.
It's a load-bearing TV, so.
You ever see those HD TVs? Like my uncle has one of these. I don't know if they make them, or maybe they do. Where there's some proprietary cable that comes to the TV to a box to input.
To the media, to your media part. Yeah,
and because it's proprietary, it's like, why?
Oh, this is the thing where all of the connections are made into the box?
Yep.
Oh yeah. I almost bought a Samsung that had that. Except for it was a at Best Buy, it was a floor model. And when I bought it online, and when I went to pick it up, I was like, where's the little box? They're like, oh, it doesn't come with it. I'm like, I need that. Like,
how
that
are
is
you gonna watch
that
it
is a requirement.
It's
like
called it's integral. Like you can't,
like, I get it. The remote, whatever, I could buy that online. This is as important as the power cord.
Which is also proprietary.
which also goes through the box. So
probably. Yeah. So I did not walk home with that. I just was like, well, just give me my money back then.
Yeah, like, nope. Yeah, so the goons at Magnolia, they talked me into getting some, because I had bookshelf speakers before, but then they talked me into getting some tower speakers and a new center channel and speakers. They're expensive.
Oh yeah, for good ones. Hell yeah.
For good ones, they're expensive. Now these ones that I got, they were regular like $17.99 a piece. But the guy was like, "Well, they're gonna go on sale." Yeah, I think then they did go on sale, and then they were only $14.99 a piece. So
okay, when you say $17.99,
I was waiting for Aaron to ask this question.
$18.
You're talking $1,800 per speaker.
Absolutely.
And how many? I'm sorry if I'm prying. Forgive me.
No, it's okay.
Did you go for like 7.1 or 10.1? How many point ones did you go for?
Well, okay. So these speakers, like I said, like the towers that I got, they're regular $17.99 a piece, but I got them for like maybe $15.99 or $14.99 a piece. But they're good speakers. They're very good speakers.
Aaron's having like a meltdown in his head.
With like a full surround setup. I mean, is that for the front or the front and the rear and the sides?
Okay. So I already had rears. I already had a 7 Well, actually, because I had two subwoofers also. But like these speakers, they have subwoofers. I'm not using the subwoofers on those speakers because I don't need to because I have two subwoofers. But they do have the Dolby Atmos speakers on the top. The Dolby Atmos speakers are on the top of these speakers, so they fire up still.
Oh, gotcha.
Fired up.
So I mean, I'm gonna bring something in we talked about before the show. you have not seen Jurassic Park and you have this sound setup. You need to see
Yeah, you probably
Jurassic
should watch
Park.
You could actually be eaten by a dinosaur through all of the base.
Like the one thing, like you don't have D-Link, which is like the seats moving, but like
Right.
you're close enough with the
oh, the D box,
speakers.
yeah.
Oh, well,
Right?
let's not
Which is-
assume anything, Lance. Do you have D-Box in your home?
I wish,
Oh.
but what we did do is we did buy some theater seating though.
Nice,
Very nice.
Yeah,
So-
you know what? You kind of if you're dropping 1,500 on the speaker, yeah, you deserve that too. Like, you have a
Yeah, I mean,
popcorn machine down there too.
Oh no, but it was actually my wife's suggestion about the theater seating. She's like, you should just get theater seating instead of getting a couch. I was like, I don't know. But then I sat in them, and then they got here, and I
I don't know how they just showed up at the house, and then I was like, well, I guess we gotta keep them.
I reclined in them, and I was like, oh, they got USB ports. I was like, oh, yeah, this is
that's
nice.
cool. I
So
like that.
They
Like a
imprinted
glove.
on you, and you were like, well, "We own these now."
I mean that was her suggestion, and then we just looked at a bunch, and then Magnolia they order them for you or whatever, and set them all up or whatever. So
Yeah. Man, you're pimping that Magnolia pretty hard
Yeah,
today.
The Best Buy premium
Episode
band.
425 brought to you by Lance and Magnolia.
yeah, there's another place that my uncle. I mean, his setup. I mean, he should charge a fee to enter in his theater. I mean, he's got like the starlight ceiling, and I mean,
Nice.
it's insane. But I mean, Magnolia, they did okay. You know what I'm saying? But I think another place probably could have did a little bit better. But
I'll believe that.
I'm still, overall, I'm happy. Everything sounds good. It's just when some of this stuff got here, like when they brought in the new center channel, I'm like, holy crap! I mean, this thing is so huge. I had a center channel before, but this one, it looks like a Decepticon. I mean, it's just so it's big, but yeah.
Okay.
But everything sounds good, and the only stressful part was the stuff before getting the basement finish and picking out colors, and we did something different. We put white doors and white trim, and then we did gray. We did a lighter shade of gray, and then a dark shade of gray for the feature wall, and then I guess the theater room now. I guess that's what we call it. I mean. Because it's like, well, we ain't going to the theater no time soon. So
No.
That's yeah.
I mean, with a 77-inch and 2 people, do you really need to go to a
no, we weren't really
Right.
huge fans of the theater
Right.
anyway. So
like
It works.
You have brought the
Yeah, I
theater
mean,
home.
in the past, it used to be it's whether the movie was available at home or not, and now it's pretty much it's just available at home.
yeah. So I mean, and that was just kind of our thinking, like well, we're gonna be here, so might as well do it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I gotta say, the very few times I've ever wandered into the Magnolia cubby, if someone asked me what I was interested in, it'd be like, Bill, please escort this commoner to the Best Buy. He's looking for a Best Buy item.
wow.
You're like, okay, that's fine. I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So that's, kind of what I've been up to. And, I did get a PlayStation 5 day one. I was one of the
Nice.
I was one of the lucky ones that I got the email back in August. I was like, whatever, I'll give it a shot. And then I was like everybody
you
else.
got it direct
this
from
is the one
Sony?
from Sony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got that back in August, and it at first it was like, well, it's a raffle to get in. I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. I didn't think I'd get in, and then I, like everybody else, I was scrambling trying to get one. When the pre-orders went up,
Mhm.
and then I didn't, and then I remember waking up that Thursday morning, like, man, can't believe I didn't get one of these things. I opened up my email. Hey, congratulations, you got in. so
Nice.
so all I had to do, so all I had to do with that Friday was just, use their link or whatever, sit in their queue, pick out the crap I wanted, and then that was it. I got the digital one.
All
'Cause,
digital.
wow.
Okay.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
You were a digital band to begin with, though, right?
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense for you to get that one.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not doing these discs. I mean, I hadn't bought a disc since like 2013. So
yeah. I mean, if you're committed, right? I get it. Makes no sense to just throw away $100.
Yeah, you know you're not going to get anything on disc, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna, I haven't gotten an Xbox yet. I'll get one, but I'm just waiting for some games.
Well, you're lucky because you got the harder one to get. Like the Xbox won't be that hard soon.
Yeah.
I would say sooner than the Sony.
Yeah, because it has been tough for people. But yeah, I'm gonna get an Xbox eventually, but I'm just waiting. No rush. There's no rush. So so that's been about it. Just trying to survive through all this COVID crap. I don't know. I mean, have you guys known any people that's had COVID or died from it?
I think
I've known of people who've died. I've known people firsthand.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
definitely
like
people who
like
had
very
it.
close who have had it and recovered.
Mhm.
I've had
Yeah.
several family members who passed away. They were closer to my parents, or like my wife's cousins. He had it as well. He passed away some months ago. Yeah, it's real out there, man.
It really is. It really is. It's, I don't know. I mean, I listened to you guys' last podcast and it was cool and stuff like that. It was good to hear you guys' voices again and stuff because, every little thing helps, because
appreciated to hear.
Yeah, because going out there, because I have to still go to work, so going out there, I mean, it's nerve wracking. I mean, even though you've taken all these precautions at my job and stuff like that, and you just have those days where you're just, I don't want to say you get beside yourself, but you just get real panicky.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I had a lot of those days in the early part of serious COVID lockdowns and stuff, and even though that's not as common, I'll still, like, depending on what's going on, like, yeah, I'm getting a little antsy. Like, this is more than I want to be involved in at this moment. This is sort of freaking me out here right now. So thankfully those days are a little more rare than not. But it's like, I get it. I am not of the age group. I don't have any medical conditions that elevate me above anybody. But I just want to be on the list and say, when my name is called, put me in the proper spot. But when I am eligible, give me that shot or those shots or whatever, which one I'll be getting. That's fine. I am very much looking forward to that. And I know that won't be the end of it. I'll still have my mask. I'll do all the stuff we need to do, but I'll feel like I've done my part and I'll feel like I'm better protected and we can start moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it right there. I'm a little concerned because I don't know when I'll be able to do that because get the vaccine because they don't recommend it for people that have allergies. People with allergies have really bad side effects. So
like seasonal allergies,
so like your hay fever or just, allergies in general is from what I understand. So
there's a higher risk of reaction.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, because I experience seasonal allergies in the primarily in the spring and fall. Like last few years, the fall worse than the spring. But I've never had a bad reaction to a flu shot. Everything I've ever heard about general, inoculation kind of stuff is it's like, if you're allergic to eggs, you probably shouldn't be getting a vaccine without it being like absolutely necessary, because that's usually how they cultivate, or I think that's the right word, like the stuff.
That's how they grow.
Yeah.
But for like other kinds of like skin allergies or like other kind of things, like I mean that's the first I'm hearing of that. So at least interesting to hear. But I would still be like, look, if it gave me the worst like sneezing allergies in my life, as long as it was only temporary, I'd still rather put up with that.
You could make an argument that it's worth it then.
I have experienced some days where I'm like, if this was the rest of my life, I would do everything I could to correct this, because it can be pretty, I'll just call it unpleasant, but it can be a real big problem. I hadn't heard that, so
I had not.
That's interesting.
I guess
that is very
have,
interesting to hear.
To be honest, because I don't have allergies, I guess I didn't read that much up into it. But yeah, that's important to know.
But I'll still say put me on the list. It's worth it.
Yeah, so I'll see when I can do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just all been crazy. So like I said, hearing you guys last week, that was nice. Because you'd been gone for a minute. And
sure.
So every little bit helps.
I appreciate you listening, even if you're not on the show.
Life just got in the way, and
just
kind of had to.
A few things, like I said. I mean, I know, like Tiny mentioned, the 6th was one of the proposed dates we were going to do it, but like physically, if I could have done it sooner, I probably we probably could have done it a little sooner than we did.
Right, but I mean, we also had Extra Life, and then we hit the holidays. Like we did our Extra Life in
oh, sure, that was like almost in lieu of a show.
Right, like there was a bunch of stuff. So like it wasn't one thing, but I and I will say for my co-host, we appreciate the kind words.
Definitely,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, it's like I mean, I wasn't like I was kind of happy that you guys took some time off coming, because you guys are real consistent. So it's like the fact that you miss a couple months,
See, when you say a couple of months, it sounds.
But that's worse than it felt.
It's also that we're real consistent. That's the.
That's true. I should focus on the positive. But I was just like, was it really a couple of months? I felt like it was only one. But probably because the Extra Life stuff. That's probably why
it was closer to 2. So
yeah, because I was almost gonna, at all you guys, like, hey, like, is everybody okay? I mean,
Keon hit me up. It was like, brother, I want to get into your business, but are y'all still doing the show? I said,
bye-bye.
It was good to hear his voice, but he's so pleasant, man. It's Keon. It's Keon being Keon. So
sure.
it was good to hear from him. But yeah, I did tell him, I was like, we're just life just doing what it does. But
so I think that was good that you guys, I mean, I know things got in the way, but I mean, you had to step away. I think that was cool. But I'm glad you guys are back, and you decided to have me on again. I don't know why.
You're Lance. That's
and it's good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's good to catch
up. I'm looking forward to talking about some of the games that you have listed.
Oh yeah, sure.
After we get through Mike's list of Netflix.
Oh, should we?
No,
travel forward then.
No, you should. Yeah. I want to see you have some stuff on here that is interesting.
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing. I'll shut up.
Well, all right. I want to run through this stuff because it all sort of runs together. So when we did the Game of the Year thing, I mentioned really briefly, because I don't want to dwell on it because we had stuff to get out of the way, which was the show. But yeah, I had like a significant back issue, and because of that, that was the longest I'd gone without even like going downstairs. Like my days were getting out of bed with assistance, being escorted to the couch, lay on the couch, stare at the television until I needed to like, maybe I kind of balanced it out where I would only need to use the bathroom like once, maybe twice in a day. And then at the end of the day, I went right back to bed, and that was it. So I traveled no more than 50 feet the entirety of the day for a solid week. And then it only got slightly better from there. So yeah, I stared at the television a lot, and I picked up one of the things I did a lot of is I picked up from where I started about a year ago when Fallen Order came out, and I played through it and I enjoyed it. It really got me thinking, I should take another look at the prequel era Star Wars stuff. So I started by watching episode 1 and then episode 2. And then I started watching Clone Wars. And I'm sure I mentioned it on the show at the time, but the Clone Wars movie is atrocious. It's barely watchable movie.
This is Attack of the Clones, right?
No. The animated movie. The Clone Wars.
This is the guy who did Dexter's Laboratory and whatnot.
This is worse?
Significantly worse. Believe me.
Wow. I can't even fathom what that's
I
like.
could barely sit through it having never seen it before.
Attack of the Clones was...
But with so much praise on the series after, I was like, well, all right, I'll make it through. It's only like an hour and like 40 minutes or so. I don't know. And I started watching the series and I'm like, this really isn't much better. And I kind of skipped ahead a little bit, trying to like browse the internet for like, when does this series get good? And I had kind of skipped to like season 4. And I watched a little bit of it and was like, whatever, I'll get back to it. Well, now I've got lots of time, so I got back to it. So while I was laying there, I watched all of season 4, all of season 5, all of season 6, all of season 7. And there's some pretty good stuff in there. It's up, it's down, but some of the story arcs I found to be really good, and for the most part, better than episodes 1, 2, and 3, the movies. So I got through, and the thing that I find kind of like amazing to think about, like when I realized it, is like they made this series, then it was like sort of on hold, then they did another season, then it was on pause, they did a bunch of other Star Wars stuff, then they came back to it less than a year ago for season 7.
That's what I was trying to remember. I'm like, is season 7 the lost season?
No, that was 6, which was sort of disjointed in its own right.
But that's the one they did on Netflix, and then season 7's the one that went on to Disney.
7 eventually overlaps with episode 3.
Right.
So it's
because 7 also leads into one of the new shows they announced when they announced all.
Yeah, the Bad Batch.
Right, that's where the Bad Batch comes from.
Sure, and
which will take place during A New Hope and whatnot.
Or, that far ahead?
I believe it's in like it's during, because they're working for like Grand Moffs and whatnot. Like they're working, so the Empire has been established. Like in the one,
I would have guessed it was either just before or parallel to Rebels as far as the timeline. Just taking a wild guess.
That might be right,
but I don't know. Like
it could be Rogue One-ish too.
I'll sort of get there because I'm just going through this in chronological order because that's what I kind of made up my mind I was going to do. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to look at all of the current canon Star Wars content in Star Wars timeline chronological order. So once I finished Clone Wars, I watched Revenge of the Sith. And it was like, yeah, this looks like cosplay after watching season after season of Clone Wars. Like it's like here's a couple of guys dressed up in like, cloth robes and stuff. It's like it really looked laughable at first. Like right at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan and Anakin like fly into this thing and it's like it looks like a green screen and they're just wearing these robes and stuff. It was like, this looks so fake, more so than a cartoon that I just watched. So yeah, I watched it and I was like, okay. And it's just like, I kind of remembered from the last time I watched it. It's like, there's a lot of stuff about it that's not great. I think the singular moment where Anakin's standing there and Mace Windu decides he's going to kill Palpatine.
Right.
And he has to make this choice of like stopping him from doing it. I thought that moment is actually very well done. but then moments after, when he's just like, all right, you got me, I'm the bad guy now. It's like, no, this turn is way too fast and doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, especially
he was killing
moments,
children like an hour.
yeah, and he
movie.
does that, and then they show him crying. It's like, so he's committed himself to being full-blown evil, but he feels bad about it still, but he does nothing to stop himself or anybody else. It's like,
Obi-Wan's holding me back. All right, dude.
It just it's too disjointed. I can't just stand by and go, yep, I'll accept that. No, there's too many problems. But so be it. It is what it is. Fallen Order is the next thing that occurs chronologically after Revenge of the Sith. So
Okay.
I didn't want to replay that game because even though I enjoyed it a lot, I thought there was a lot of good stuff in it. I just wanted to like experience it again. So I looked up the Fallen Order movie on, or like video or whatever on YouTube, and I found this YouTube channel that makes movified versions of video games, and it was a 4.5 hour long movie, so to speak, the Fallen Order. So all the video clips plus all of the important moments that are gameplay, so that you see all of the story. So I watched all of that. And I once again was like, okay, this is very cool. I still like this. I kind of hope that they do more with those characters one way or the other within games or future shows or movies or anything. Like, I think it would be pretty awesome for Cal Kestis or any of the characters from that game to just show up in Mandalorian. I'd be like, this is great. I'd love it. But whatever, we'll see.
I mean, they've set that precedent now.
Absolutely. So that's where I'm like, yes, to Dave Filoni, do apparently what you've been doing all these years that I had no idea about, because he was involved with Clone Wars, with Rebels, with stuff. Like, he's been doing this. He is the Star Wars serial guy. Like, he's been doing it for a long time. So after watching the Fallen Order movie edition, is what the channel calls it, I watched Solo again, and again, there's just too many stupid things for.
Did you wonder where those dice came from?
We have to explain everything about Han Solo within the confines of outside of the time jump that happens in the very beginning of the movie. Within, I don't know, a few weeks or something. It's like all of the important things that you know about Han Solo occurred in a very short period of time. And then nothing happened for him for quite a while, and then he showed up at the Mos Eisley Cantina, I guess. But it was.
I enjoyed it, but I only saw it once. So.
It's not a horrible movie. It's just superfluous. It really doesn't add a whole lot.
Aren't they doing a Donald Glover Lando thing?
Yes,
they're doing a show.
Disney Plus thing. Yeah. So that's cool.
Interesting.
I will be interested in seeing that as almost anything Star Wars that shows up at this point.
You're paying for it, so.
I mean, I'm paying for it. Yeah, I've already paid for it.
He and the robot were like the best part of that movie, so yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Not as good as K2SO from
Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One did
that's the best.
The dark humor robot thing better than Star Wars has ever done it. But yeah, L3 was good. So it's not terrible. And the first live action appearance of Darth Maul since Episode 1, and they're like,
because I've not seen any of those cartoon shows. I was in the theater like, what? I was like, does this go anywhere? I was like, what's the point of this?
It's not a horrible idea to just look up what episodes Darth Maul is in Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. And just watch those episodes to get a context for what happened to him and his brother, whose name I've kind of forgotten.
Well, I know I know they replaced his leg. That's all I know.
Yeah, but it got weirder before he became a biped again. Like, he was a weird spider creature at first.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
It was something.
It sounds like it.
So anyway, yeah, so I watched that, and now I am about a third of the way through season 2 of Rebels, and I will say, at least to this point so far, my early impression of Rebels is better than the early impression I had of Clone Wars. it still has that pretty childish. We got to rope the kids in.
Yeah, it gets better. Like it,
but yeah, it has. I thought the season 1 finale of Rebels was fantastic. Probably better than anything that happened in episode 1, 2, or 3. And it's been pretty good. So season 2's been pretty good. A little bit more cameo style stuff going on. Like, oh yeah, okay, we're bringing in this guy, we're bringing in that character.
Like, Rebels is where they establish oh my god, Forrest Whitaker's character from.
Well, no, he's in Clone Wars.
Well, I guess he does show up in Clone Wars.
Yeah, Saul Guerrero.
Saul
Guerrero. Yeah. No, he's a character in Clone Wars for an arc, and actually a really good one too. I will say that. Like but then he just shows up in Rogue One, and you're like, wait, I feel like I'm supposed to know who this person is. But I think it worked because I had no idea who he was when I saw Rogue One. I had no idea. I had no context at all. But I think they outlined pretty well. He's a rebel guy who's also at that stage in his life pretty independent, like not interested in following the rules established by the rebellion.
Right. He's
like kind of doing his own thing, which is sort of good and bad. But yeah, like I saw where he came from Clone Wars, and I thought the story arc that he was in was one of the better ones. Not the best, but probably in the top like 4 or 5 that I saw. I was like, yeah, this is good stuff. So that's where I'm at with Star Wars. I'm in the middle of Rebels. I watch about an episode a day still, even though I'm not like bedridden anymore. And I'm still enjoying. Like I'll get home and I'll be like, yeah, I'll happily watch another episode of this because it's gotten a lot better. Like it had to start off. It's all new characters. Like the main little group, they're all new, and you go, well, so whatever happened to this one, or this one, like something must happen. Like I hope it's not super Rogue One-y where it's like, well, they all just died at the end.
Well, but like you played. Did you play through all of Squadrons?
No, I played one level.
Okay.
So I have a feeling when I'm done with Rebels, I need to play Rogue Squadron before watching Rogue One.
Syndulla shows up in Squad.
You mentioned that last show, so that's where I was like, okay, all right, I'll give it another shot. I kept it. I tried to sell it. The store literally a week after it came out, we're like, we're not even going to buy this. I don't even care. We're not even going to give you $1. I was like, okay, well, I guess I hold on to it then.
Well, I mean, if you really want to get deep, do you want me to start shipping you out the Disney Infinity 3.0 with
no
characters?
No. That I draw the line at. I'm literally doing movies and TV shows and games only that I care about. So anyway, so that's where I'm at. And
gotcha.
All of these I'll mention very, very briefly. These are other things that I watched while I was laying there. This is all stuff that I watched with my wife because she has no interest in watching any of the Star Wars stuff with me. She will only watch the original movies and the new ones because it's like, whatever. If it doesn't have Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill in it, then no interest of any kind. We watched The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, which was very good. I liked it a lot. When it was all done, I looked it up and was like, what about this is real? And they're like, absolutely nothing. And I was like, okay. I'll ride with that. But it's really well done, and I definitely recommend it. Chess-based storyline, girl from not exactly birth, but a very young age to adulthood and going her whole way through. Very, very well done. I definitely recommend it. The next one, and this is not one I had ever heard of, but it was recommended and we watched it. It's called The Undoing. That was on HBO.
That was good.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Then you're more positive than I was.
So what is The Undoing? Because I don't think I've ever heard of it.
So it is a murder mystery of sorts with
I like sorts.
Oh God, what is her name? Tom Cruise's former wife from back in the day.
Katie Holmes?
No,
not
that one. Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. Yeah, Nicole Kidman is like the main character.
Oh, is this the like rich family? And
yes.
Okay, I've seen commercials for that.
And and Hugh Grant is the husband, and
That's the one where she and the kids are already dead.
No.
Wait.
It's a different character that gets killed. And
No, that's another Nicole Kidman movie.
oh yeah, yes, that
I was like,
I know
wait,
that one.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah, that was something. But it's not terribly, like, I don't think it's like a terrible thing. It's not like awfully put together, but I was like, after we watched Queen's Gambit, I'm like, this is not as good as Queen's Gambit. But it's, yeah, I don't know, whatever. If you need something to watch, it wasn't awful. But I feel like I want to spoil it, but I won't. I just won't.
Okay.
The next thing we checked out was The Flight Attendant, also on HBO, and it definitely became something shockingly different than what I thought it was going to be when it started. I thought it was going to be a very fun, energetic, like, oh, this is wild and silly and whatever. And then it was like, why did this
Isn't
get
it
so
like a murder
dark
mystery or
and
whatever?
weird and kind of disturbing? And then when it wrapped up, was like, I don't believe any of this. But
so is it like a one season kind of thing or something?
I don't know, because it's officially listed as season 1, not like end of the series, like a limited event.
Right, but could it be like what was the detective show that was on HBO?
True Detective.
Oh, yeah, True Detective.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
like,
it could be
just in a mythology kind of like.
Sure.
So,
But
all I know
will
is
say,
Kaylee Kuko is in The Flight Attendant. That's the only thing I know about that show.
They did leave some things open-ended where I could believe that they would be explored in a second season, but they also wrapped up some things enough to be like, well, if they do a second season of this, it's going to be very different. So I don't know. We'll see. And the last thing I just want to mention, this apparently happened a while ago, but I just discovered it today by searching it out, is the Void VR company, which I had mentioned when I went to go see it. It's been like 2 years now. In Disney. When we did it, I loved it. It was amazing. I wanted to do it again. Apparently they like filed for bankruptcy quite some time ago, and when I was like trying to search they opened one somewhat close to our area in Northern Virginia, and when I went to the link to the website, it was like, oh, that link isn't working. And then when I went to their general website, it's like, yeah, that link doesn't work either. And I went to their Facebook page, and the most recent post, one of the comments, somebody said, I wish you guys still existed. And they responded, we wish we still existed too. I was like, okay, that's not a great sign.
No, it's not.
Like the series of events where they defaulted on a payment, Disney ripped the license away from them for all of the Disney related stuff. So Star Wars, Wreck-It Ralph, and the Avengers stuff all got pulled away from them, and they were evicted from Disney Springs and Downtown Disney. So the last comment that I could find was, once the pandemic is over, they're going to try to either reopen or sell all of their assets to somebody. But either way, the Void thing that I witnessed is dead. It is like the Secrets of the Empire thing. Unless Disney tries to revive that themselves, no one will ever see that content again, which is kind of a shame, because, you know, they had Cassian Andor and K2SO come to reprise their roles for like a thing. And it was a neat little thing that they did. It was cool. I enjoyed it very much. So I was looking forward to maybe not doing that particular one again, but like anything that they had to offer, it was like I was looking forward to it. And yeah, I'm holding a gift card to the Void, and
collector's edition.
We will see what may happen. So Justin, thank you for the advice. I will see if we can pursue something to try to get a little recompense. We'll say that. So that's the last thing on my list. I hope I didn't talk too long. But Aaron, what have you been participating in?
I've enjoyed the first 3 episodes of WandaVision. I'm looking forward to like where it's leading to. That's funny. I saw a Book of Nerds and some other folks comment like, that's fine. I mean, their whole thing was maybe they felt like the show was spending too much time in the 50s sitcom-esque kind of thing. But I kind of feel like maybe he said that before he saw episode 3.
But
or maybe not. It's their opinion.
Episode 3. Everything in episode 3 happens in the last 5 minutes of episode 3.
It does.
Like
that is true.
You watch half an hour of that show, and you're like, "Cool, everything cool happened in the last 5 minutes," and it's like
it got kind of it got a little weird, and it's gonna get weirder. So I'm enjoying that. And then King Kong versus Godzilla, the trailer came out. Apparently, it was supposed to come out the 26th of March. Now it's March 31st.
Oh, is it? I hadn't.
Yeah,
heard that.
I enjoyed Kong Skull Island. I enjoyed the 2 Godzilla movies. You just turn your brain off and just have fun. So, why King Kong is significantly larger is sort of beyond me, but
it feels like they changed size in that trailer. Like maybe I also
probably did.
I don't understand the size of an aircraft carrier well enough, but like Godzilla was walking between skyscrapers in the Boston one, in the second one. And in Vegas, actually, like he's walking next to like the Cosmopolitan and whatever, and like they both can fit on an aircraft carrier. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense then. So anyway,
and that's the thing. I like both the characters, so I don't really want to see either one of them lose. But I assume that something is controlling.
Right, it's going to be some unifying force that they're going to come and fight against, and hopefully it's Mecha Godzilla because that's cool.
I don't know what it's going to be, but the trailer would definitely have me like, yep, I'm going to watch that on HBO Max, because why would I not? I'm not going to a theater to see it, but yeah. I mean, like I said, the second one was a lot of fun, because, Ghidorah, pretty much almost killed him. So, and then they had to sort of revive him. What they use, like a nuclear...
They set off a nuke in Atlantis, because that's where he was hanging out for the fun of it.
Yep.
And there's just, they have this whole inner Earth theory, and that's how Godzilla can get around the Earth real quick, because he's just taking like tunnels beneath the surface of the Earth.
Something.
Is Godzilla the Flash now?
Well, so it's again. Anyway, they have Bradley Whitmer just like telling these like, oh, that's how he gets around. They show off like, I think at least 12.
I mean, you understand that the thickness of the Earth is still a pretty good distance.
It really is.
Not if there are essentially wormholes that go through the center of the Earth.
Yeah, there's not.
Yeah, but if you're still traveling through...
Time out. There are giant lizards and whatnot that are fighting right now. How about we suspend the disbelief that maybe there's some high speed network of
I don't know what it's worth.
Earth.
But I would believe giant lizard before I believe wormholes that let you travel through the Earth.
But also, just remember, this is a giant lizard that's not created by nuclear radiation like the original Godzillas or whatever. This is nature's immune system. And Godzilla's here to stop the other Titans.
So this Godzilla is basically Captain Planet.
Yes. Honestly, there's a huge part of that.
So who holds the heart?
Did Mothra die in the second one?
Yes, the flame bird. He stabs. Well, Mothra, so just I guess unisex, stabs the flame bird in the heart with the stinger, but he's on fire at the same time.
Oh right.
So, but that's when
that was Rodan,
Mothra,
wasn't it? Was that Rodan?
Was that right? It might have been Rodan. Mothra lays down on Godzilla and revives him the second time after we've already had what's his name sacrifice himself with a nuke to revive Godzilla, who's now going thermal. That movie, anyway.
It's
a lot of stuff happening,
but I had fun watching that.
Eleven's hanging out in there. She's running around.
I mean, they're dumb. So, Lance, what are your thoughts on the new Godzilla movies?
I haven't seen a Godzilla movie since the 80s.
Okay.
I mean,
you know
when
what? Me neither. High five. High five.
I just, I mean, they were kind of cool back then. I mean, because it was the old Japanese Godzillas. It's like, oh, okay, this is but anything after that, I couldn't tell you. I didn't watch the trailer or anything like that. So
I just spoiled the whole thing for you. So in case you decide to, I guess.
no, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm happy that, there's something, it's the little things like this. People need this type of stuff. Like you said, they could just sit down, watch it. They're not really thinking about anything. There's so much going on.
Yep.
So these little distractions that we can get, that's fine. I mean, I'm still a hater, but I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate on this. So. I am.
I have a job to do, but I know where to do it.
I just, my hate mode's been a little amplified lately, but I know that's just because of the world. But with this, I mean, like I said, I'm excited for people. I guess I'm happy that people have something to look forward to.
That's how I felt about Cyberpunk, and then I was like, oh
my god, woo!
Have fun with that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for me.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll finish this off real quick because it's Netflix hour. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous season 2 came out Friday last week.
That's the name of a show.
Yes.
Okay.
It is a show about. So.
Is this the anthology show with just different people experiencing stuff with the dinosaurs?
No.
Okay.
This is so. Take all of the ineptitude that happens in the Jurassic Park movies by adults, and then pretend someone said, "Let's make a summer camp at Jurassic World at the same time." So
that doesn't sound entirely.
The first season takes place at the same time as Jurassic World the movie. So like. Shit goes down.
I bet.
But there's only 2 counselors. There are 6 kids. They're like testing out this camp idea. And at one point, both counselors leave these teenagers alone, which is a terrible idea.
That sounds like one of the Friday the 13th movies all of a sudden.
I mean, it kind of like, again, they leave these children, like, I cannot express in across, my expertise from my teaching degree and also running a camp helping run a camp for 10 years. You do not leave the children alone. It's like the number 1 rule. So the first season ends with the kids getting left on Jurassic World. Like when everyone else leaves, no one checks. Oh wait, the kids aren't here.
Oops.
So now season 2 is them surviving and trying to get a beacon to like get people to save them and hijinks ensues and whatnot. It's fun, like, and it's definitely doesn't shy away from, hey, these are people living on an island with dinosaurs. But it does also like bring up some of the, let's say, challenges Jurassic Park and Jurassic World have. Like either InGen started cloning dinosaurs back in the 60s to get like adult dinosaurs in the early 90s, or they accelerated their growth and there should just be a pile of poo somewhere on that island because there's no way vegetation can support, like, they should be importing food daily to support that kind of growth in these animals. Anyway, but ignoring those kind of dumb shit, like, it's a fun show. Like it's one where they're working, it's these kids, they're trying to work through this. They're still building up Dr. Wu as the bad guy, which is super weird because the Jurassic Park and the other 2 movies there, he's just a geneticist in the background. Like,
but they do imply that he is a nefarious character in Jurassic World.
In Jurassic World,
it's more than an implication. It's
pretty clear.
Direct.
They imply it by stating it outright.
Yes. Well,
but also he doesn't have to tell them what dinosaurs he put into their dinosaurs, which is just a very confusing work relationship. Anyway, so that came out. That was a lot of fun. The other thing I watched was Lupin. I watched that in like a day and a half. It's 6 episodes that are up so far on Netflix.
What are they, like hour-long episodes?
I think it's like 45 minutes kind of deal.
Yeah. Right.
And it's if you ever seen the anime and the French cartoons, This is a reimagining of it.
Oh, I didn't know there was a connection. I just assumed
yeah.
those were like coincidental name similarities.
No, this is a reimagining of Lupin in modern day. And I mean, Lupin. I saw one article say this, and it's probably the best. Lupin for France is what Sherlock Holmes is for like Britain or English.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
he is just he knows how to do everything. He is the master gentleman thief because that's the character. It's really cool. And to bring it back to Jurassic World, Omar Sy also played Barry in the first Jurassic World. He was the other raptor trainer. And he was also Bishop in the X-Men Future Perfect.
That was him.
Yes. I did not remember that. Like, I'm like, he looks real familiar. And then I looked up his IMDb. I'm like, oh yeah, he was Bishop. He gets stabbed. So, because nothing, it doesn't end well for any of them.
Which X-Men movie was that?
This is the one where they send Wolverine back
Days of
in
Future
time.
Past.
Days of Future
Yep.
Past.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's the one we're watching next with the kids because we're
So,
catching up on all
yeah,
this for
he's-
some reason.
Probably the last good like X-Men
I
movie.
made it very clear to the girls.
I mean, Logan.
After
No,
this,
yeah, but that's a Wolverine movie.
yeah.
Like it's your,
And honestly,
Xavier's there, but
well, let's be real. Like Logan was good, but the part that's like towards the end, what reminds me, like beating me about the head that this is a comic book movie, just kind of took me out. Like with a certain doppelganger like character was like,
that was stupid. But
Why?
no, I thought
Well-
for a moment you were going to mention the like serum at the end.
I thought you were
was
going
like,
to mention
that
the
part
comic
was
books
pretty.
they literally made about
pretty
the
awesome.
X-Men.
Well,
So-
anything, sure, but
Like I watched a cutscene from that movie this week, weirdly enough, where one of the kids comes up and asks Logan if Sabretooth was real. And he just looks like longingly into the distance, like not everything they did in those comic books was fake.
also here's this MacGuffin style thing from the first movie that ensures that X-Men Origins was a legit thing. And that's when you have to go, but what about Ryan Reynolds? And you go, I don't know, maybe not.
Deadpool killed that version of Deadpool. In Deadpool 2, he goes back and takes care of
yeah.
it.
I haven't watched Deadpool 2
did.
yet still.
So,
well,
anyway.
we all make mistakes.
All right, I'll get there eventually.
There's a bunch of stuff. Anyway,
They're like,
so,
whatever, we're going to do Deadpool 3 in like 5 more years.
and it'll be R-rated, and it'll somehow also bring in mutants to the MCU. Anyway, there's a whole lot of stuff they
Isn't
We're
that
going to
what
wait until
WandaVision-
Ryan
anyway.
Reynolds is a geriatric.
I hope so. There's a lot of things about WandaVision we could talk about, but I'm holding my tongue.
There you go.
Please, because I don't plan on watching it till it's all on there.
I think that's a
that's-
good plan for a lot of like if you don't want to like buy into the weirdness. Like I know a lot of people that watch the first 2 episodes like, what the heck did I just watch? And that's fair. Like that is 100% fair. It gives you almost nothing.
Yep, it really does.
I think there's some stuff they set up, and I think it works well for that. But like, if you're not here for that, like. I think watching this as a lump sum is going to be a much better idea than week over week.
I agree.
So,
I like following as it happens instead of saying I need to binge an entire season in one day or else something's going to get spoiled for me.
Well, I think it's going to be 8 episodes. So that's the thing. Like these are much shorter seasons, so it won't be as bad.
Like every Friday morning,
Every Friday.
I lament that I get on the internet and be like, oh, somebody has like, it's not even just some random person. Like GameSpot is like straight up spoilers in the headlines for the episode that you had to have stayed up all night to watch. Like, I get it. People on the West Coast could have watched it at 9 o'clock at night. And
oh no, it comes out at midnight West Coast time. It's 3 a.m. our time.
Really?
I've been up to watch it before, yeah.
Okay, I don't even get it then.
They already have it. They've already watched it. That's how they have their video ready to go. Anyway, it's not.
The whole thing's ridiculous.
I think there are pros and cons to both styles because, like, Lupin is a 6-episode piece, but it's only the first half of the series, the season. So, like, it drops off on a cliffhanger. I'm like, cool. When the hell is the rest of it supposed to come out now?
Yeah.
And they're just like 2021.
That's why it's awesome to watch shows from like the 70s and 80s because they're just done and you can just watch the whole thing.
So, the last thing I'll mention is I started on Giant Bomb's Game of the Year stuff, which this is probably the first Giant Bomb podcast I've listened to in months now. And like, I'm very, I will spoil this from their first episode. They gave Best Dad to Kamala Khan's father in the Avengers game.
I did not play that game, so
there's a category called Best Dad.
Yeah, they made up a category called Best Dad.
Okay,
let's put it this way: one of the other
like 90 hours long. Because
one of the other Best Dads that won, Tony Hawk from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
He's not even a dad in the game, is he?
That's I don't.
Riley Hawk is in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I just skipped the Game of the Year episodes because A, that's a lot. B, I don't want games that I might play be spoiled for me, and that's all they do. Fair.
Oh, well,
so I just ignore them completely. So when you say that's the first you've listened to in months, I'm like, this is the only ones I haven't listened to in years.
Oh yeah, no, like I kind of dropped off on most of my podcasts, and
yeah, I kind of have too. Which is ironic because we're doing a podcast right now.
We are, but aside from that kind of stuff, that's really the anecdotal stuff. So,
yeah. All right, games we played.
Yeah, let's talk because I see Lance. I'm gonna take your last one. I see Last of Us Part 2 on here, and that was a game I talked about last week. Like, I enjoyed that game. Well, I recognize that game as being good. I don't know if enjoyed is the
no
right
spoilers.
word.
I'm only up to the part where the dogs get introduced. But anyway, Lance, please tell us.
Okay, well, I've done a lot of my second playthroughs through games, so I think I had on the list like Days Gone. And it's kind of I feel like such a hypocrite at times because I'm so tired of all these open world games. There's just too many of them. You know what I'm saying? Every game is open world with RPG elements.
Yep.
And I feel like a hypocrite because Horizon Zero Dawn is one of my favorite games, from the last generation or whatever. So it's not that these games aren't good. It's just that there's too many of them. But anyways, with Days Gone, obviously I did my first playthrough when the game came out on the PlayStation 4. But I had, I was on my PlayStation 5. My wife was down here with me. I just finished Spider-Man Miles Morales. And I was like, well, let me get into this Days Gone again. I heard it was a big update for it, and it is. It is like a different game on the PlayStation 5. It fantastic. I mean, it runs at 60 frames. It's 4K. I think they've even done some graphical things like there's more foliage and stuff like that. It's like a brand new game. I mean, when I downloaded it and started it, and like I said, my wife, she was sitting right by me, and we were both like, whoa, at the same time, because she watched me play through the whole game the first time I went through it. So I replayed that. What else did I replay? I did replay The Last of Us Part 2. Obviously, I did my first playthrough when it came out, and then I did my second playthrough back in December, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it the first time going through. I was like, wow, this is really good. I was like, wow, this game, it just keeps going. But then that
it does.
But here's the thing, and that's what I want to hit on. So the second time I played it, it felt shorter the second time, and I don't know why, because it takes about the same amount of time. But I appreciated it even more the second time. I was like, okay. So it went from being really good to me, like, yeah, this is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't really quite understand, all the hate that, it's gotten. The hate that, it seems like a lot of it is really, really nitpicky and ridiculous, I won't spoil anything. I think everybody should.
I don't know why people were so upset. I'll find out, but I still don't know why people were so bad.
I really can't. I really can't understand it. You know what I'm saying? It to me, it just seems like it's a bunch of people who don't really appreciate good storytelling, and I don't really get it because the story is really good. I mean, I haven't played too many games where my heart is like pumping Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? Because of the things that I'm not even kidding, because it's like they play with your emotions so much. You get these mixed emotions, because of things that you have to do. And I just never play, I wish you had finished it, Aaron, so I could, spoil this, but I won't. And everything is improved. I mean, the game, it feels really good to play. I mean, it's, so like when you're punching people, you're knifing people, you're shooting people, whatever. I mean, it's so much improved over the first one,
You feel
so
like you're really bludgeoning somebody with that brick.
you do. And let me tell you, I hate those dogs. So I didn't mind shooting them. I love shooting
I
those
just
dogs.
got to the dogs and I'm like, this seems
The position you're in, you have to. Like, it's not.
You
like,
really do.
It's not like, oh man, you went to a pet store and like it's
I
Anakin
don't have an
Skywalker
issue
time.
taking them out. I just the fact that I can't just hide behind something because my scent is still a factor.
Right.
That's the part I'm just like, ugh. But I'll get back to it though.
I mean, the one thing I can imagine with doing a second playthrough is that maybe you do, like, one thing that I ran into with the game is there were like 3 different times where I'm like, oh, this has to be the end of this game now. Like, this is it, right? Like, we're not going to suddenly introduce a whole new section on the thing. And then they did. And I'm like, oh, I'm only 2/3 of the way through this game.
That doesn't sound good.
And not having that, like, not having like those kind of things, like a second playthrough, I could see that being a real positive, because there were points where it's like, let's just end this, guys. Like, we are in a spot where I think it's okay to end it. Like,
I even my first time going through that, I kind of thought that. I was like, but then that second time playing it, I was like, nope, no, you can't cut any of this. You could. I playing it that second time, I was like, nope, every scene, everything that they have you do, it needed to be done. It's like they took it one. I appreciated that they always took it one step further. You know what I'm saying? And it was written so well to me, and the characters were fleshed out enough that I'm like, yep, you have to tell this story. If you don't, you're just shortchanging, the player and yourselves. So I'll tell you right now, Aaron, the game, it is 30 hours, but it doesn't. It felt like it the first time. It didn't feel like it the second time. But I think what saves this game, even though it's 30 hours, is that it's not open world. I mean, you have sections where, it gets kind of wide, but it closes again. I mean, it's not an open world game. It's still very linear. They're leading you down that hallway, So I think that, I think that's what saves the game.
How long is the first one? I don't remember.
The first one's maybe like 13 to 15 hours.
That felt, and there were times even in that one where towards the end, I would walk across an environment and see broken bottles and bricks, and I just sighed and went, all right, another action sequence. Let me just get to the end of this thing. If this is twice as long.
But Lance is right. Like, once you get through and you have the whole story, like, what they're saying, what they're showing, what is impactful, and the time changes that happen across it, and like the gaps in time that occur. But yeah, when you're playing, there are parts where you're like, so like, we're good, right? Like, let's wrap this up. Time to hit those credits. And that is not what.
Nope. They take it one.
Like, yeah, exactly.
They take it one step further. And like I said, I mean, I loved it the first time I went through it, and I just somehow I loved it even more the second time. So now I'm sure that I'm positive it's a really good game. And then Tiny, I heard you talking about you went through God of War 2018.
I did.
Was that your first time?
I restarted it because I played it first when it came out, and then I fell off of it. I think when you get to the first like you see the light and the dark fairies fighting, and you're trying to do that. So I restarted it last year, and I played through it all, and I enjoyed the heck out of that game so much. Like I I went and did I also did that with Horizon Zero Dawn the year before. And I was super happy with that, and it had its DLC in it at that point, so I was able to play.
You know what? It was interesting listening to you talk about it, because it's like I said, I just recently did my second playthrough of it. I mean, I'm just talking about last week or the week before.
Okay.
And I loved it the first time. I didn't think it was a 10. Like, people were just like, "Oh no, this is the most graphically best PlayStation 4 game." And no, not in my mind. And they were just loving it. I thought it was really good. I was like, yeah, it's probably about an 8. But the second time playing it, I was like, okay, it's a 9. It's a 9. You know what I'm saying? It is really well done. It's just fun through and through. And I gotta tell you, hearing it on this new stuff I have, when you meet the serpent, oh my gosh,
influence.
Oof. Yeah.
That I can imagine, like that kind of stuff, and like when he has to go back to his old ways.
Oh yeah.
No, that was real good. I really enjoyed that.
I would tell anybody just go, because the thing is with me, it's like I was in the camp of, man, we do not need any more God of War. But
he murdered everybody pretty much.
Well, that's why he went to a new pantheon.
Right. And I, the things that they pull back from, the things that they, bring over from the previous, it is really well. I won't give it a 10, but I definitely give it a 9. It's really good. I mean, I will say, like, okay, and now I'm ready for another one. You know what I'm saying, to finish out the story.
I'm waiting for Ragnarok.
I know the story beats. Like I said, I think I stopped right around when you fighting the fairies and stuff, and I enjoyed it up until that point. But then, I don't know. Some parts of it just felt like I appreciated the other games because it's a quick 5 to 8 hour experience. You just finish it, you move on. This obviously is much more cinematic. They went for something different, but I do want to get to the part where he goes back and gets the Blades of Chaos and where he realizes
some of us trying to be a little subtle about that.
I haven't touched this version of God of War at all, but I'll tell you, I hate Kratos. I don't want to see him succeed. I want to watch him die.
I understand why you feel that.
He's like the worst character.
Horrible person.
He's the worst playable protagonist I think I've ever experienced in a video game.
Well, I mean, I would argue almost all the protagonists from Grand Theft Auto are probably a lot worse.
No, I can't think of a single Grand Theft Auto protagonist that
I felt bad for Poseidon and those folks. I mean,
to me, it all started. I think
voiced by Kevin Sorbo. When he beat the crowd, I was like, wow,
I think it was the very first game. It was either the first or the second. I don't remember. But the scene where there was a guy in a cage and he's pleading for help. And the puzzle is you need to move the cage onto fire to burn this guy to death. Yep. I was like, all right, that's it. I hate this character. I do not want to help him. I want to see him die. I need the sequel to whatever this is.
He gets humbled in this. He's not a good person. By no means is he a
irredeemable. I'm sorry.
No. Okay, how about the part where he
blow up Alderaan? There's no coming back.
That's true. How about the scene where he has sex with Hephaestus' wife? He's in the other room. What is this?
Well, what is Hephaestus going to do?
I know, but it's still wrong.
I mean, this guy is walking around with the ashes of his previous family on him. Is this really going to be a thing?
And the thing is, even people will be like, well, that's Kratos' fault. He killed his family. But here's the thing, if you've played the PSP ones, I played them when they remastered them for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And once you find out the whole story, Kratos was right in every sense, everything that he did, because his life was set from the very beginning. That was Zeus from the time he was a baby. From the time he was a baby to his adult life, that was all set. From Zeus, Athena, the sisters, all of them. They all set him up.
I get that he was not
why?
the source of why I hated him, but I hated him nonetheless.
Well, they set him up because that's just what the gods did. They played games.
It's the Zeus.
You mean like just to do it? Okay.
Yeah,
just to do it.
Now, granted, Kratos could always at some point have decided to like that's not in his personality, but like he always had a choice. Like he could walk away. Like he didn't have like God of War 3 is him charging Olympus. Like, yo, it's time to kill everyone up there. Like he does not
starting
need
with
to
you
do
beside
that.
me.
Because apparently he could just move to Norseland and no one knows who he is for a while.
Well, if you remember, the very first game started with him throwing himself off of a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we thought that was the end, and this was just, his flashback before
he had
the only story you're ever going to know about him.
And I mean, it's funny because, Mike, didn't you also play through the PSP games last year?
I played through... let me see. Chains of Olympus was the first one, and I started Ghost of Sparta, but I did not finish it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I played.
So there are more God of War games that I have not played than ones that I have completed.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, because those PSP ones, I mean, they're real short.
They were fine.
Yeah.
With demos and all that stuff.
But they do set up he was fated to do this. Like,
right.
And they play significantly better on the PS3 than the PSP.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
just the more capable hardware.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tiny's right. Yeah. I mean, he was fated. I mean, from his birth, I mean, Zeus didn't even want anything to do with him, but he's like, oh, you know what? I'm a god. I'm his father. I'm gonna do what I want. That's what you learn about Kratos' life. I mean, so yeah, I can't wait for the next one, and then after that, no more. Then there doesn't need to be more anymore.
He's gotta go take on, I don't know, the Aztec gods next
Egyptian
or something.
I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could, but I'd like to.
Long in the tooth.
Yeah, I'd like to see Sony Santa Monica. I think they're a real talented team, and I'd like to see them do something else. So,
I read a rumor a few years ago that they had pitched within the studio the idea where he was going to kill Christianity, basically fight Jesus.
He fought Jesus.
I'm like, that. I don't think this would have gone over well.
Is there one boss battle? Like, what's that?
He fights John the Baptist. He fights.
He was mortal.
Yeah.
Magpie. I don't know who else.
He just shows up at the Mount, Isaac and Abraham. I'm just gonna kill both of you. I don't even care.
The Apostles is actually a 12-person fight, but everyone fights him one at a time because they're very polite.
Of course.
He's got to take on the different forms of. He got to fight Noah. Kill all the animals on the ark.
He's gonna mess that whale up. Unbelievable.
Oh, Lazarus, you thought you were unkillable. I got you.
I also did the PlayStation 5 version of the Spider-Man Remastered or whatever.
Okay.
Replayed that, and it looks good, and it's still fun. I always play on the fidelity mode. I wear glasses, so the clearer the picture could be, Plus, I went to see all that lovely ray tracing.
Gotcha.
That was in Spider-Man Miles Morales and in the remastered version. And I just don't think a character. I don't know. I'm one of those people. Like, I don't get caught up on 60 frames per second. I think for some games, yeah, do it. And in other games, it doesn't need to be. I think it just depends on the game.
Sure.
And then there are games that benefit from it more, like fighting or racing games.
Yeah. I think the fighting,
a character action game.
Yeah, I think the fighting, the racing. If you're doing the first-person shooter online thing, that's fine. But I would switch, just to see, the different versions on Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remastered and stuff, and it's like, it just felt really plasticky, and it didn't feel right at 60 frames per second. But I think that's because Spider-Man already swings real fast, and it's not needed. Now, something I wanted to ask you guys, because I don't think I heard you guys mention this. What'd you guys think of Ghost of Tsushima? I thought it was freaking brilliant.
I never played it. So
Oh
I
my
can't,
God.
I can't say anything.
I just started it, and I would really like it to be interesting. So.
It's really good. Here
Like,
again,
I'm early into it, but like I guess I'm trying to figure out. Other than like, it is very pretty on my. Granted,
now, I have heard
the only one on here who doesn't own a PS5 yet.
Most of what I've heard about the game is that it is a classic style Assassin's Creed type of game, as opposed to the most recent 3. And Lance, I know you're a fan of those earlier Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, you the Assassin's Creed guy?
Oh my God, I hate the new ones. I hate all the new. Odyssey is terrible. Origins is terrible. Black Flag is overrated. I kind of like Syndicate and Unity, but I don't mess with Assassin's Creed anymore. Now it's a totally different game than it used to be. Oh my God! I mean, Ubisoft. You talk about how to ruin a franchise. And Ubisoft. I can't stand Ubisoft right now. I mean, just every one of their games feels the same.
They're all open world games that I don't care about.
Climb to the top of something.
Oh my gosh. I can remember, you know what really, I mean, Odyssey did it in for me, but even before that, I can remember playing Ghost Recon Wildlands on the Xbox One. I bought it and I was like, whatever, I'm just going to play through it by myself. And you throw up your drone and the drone marks the soldiers and stuff or whatever, right? And then later on that year, Origins came out. And, you have your eagle. And the eagle marks it. I mean, it's like the same exact game.
Well, right.
This is...
But so both of those did that because they did that in Far Cry Primal before either of those. So, like, anyway, Ubisoft does make the exact same game in just...
Yeah, unlike Activision, where all of their Call of Duty studios seem to be like, whatever, we're going to do our own thing. We're not going to talk at all to the other company that makes the same franchise. Yeah, they just share everything and say,
I wish Ubisoft would do the same thing. Oh my God! I mean, those games are just they've killed it for me. I just, I can't. I can't get hyped for any Assassin's. I can't really get hyped for any Ubisoft game anymore. The one last shining light they had was Watch Dogs, and I haven't played Legions, but that looks so boring. Oh my gosh!
I'm not
See, I'll say I've only barely scratched the surface of the very beginning of Watch Dogs Legion. But the whole concept of you can just take over anybody and just do whatever you want with them. I don't want to play an entire game of that, but I want to spend a weekend just like taking over old ladies and beating strange people over the head with a bag. Be like, that just sounds like I could laugh until I couldn't laugh anymore.
I think that would be cool. Like if it was a perk, like after you beat the game, you have games, you turn on perks or whatever, but trying to tell a story where you're trying to go from point A to point B, like even if they just did like dual protagonists, right? Like maybe you play as two different people, but they're
authored characters instead of
exactly instead of I'm going to take over this, person. And oh my God,
that's where I knew I wouldn't care about the story anymore at that point. It's like the earliest days of when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. Like, sure, there's a long, lengthy story I could go through, and I will do that eventually. But right now, tonight, I'm going to spend 4 straight hours killing cops and waiting until I can get all of the stars and tanks show up.
I'm just
having a good old time.
So.
But like I was saying, I think Ghost of Tsushima is brilliant. There again, I feel like a hypocrite because it is an open world game. It does have some RPG elements.
You enjoyed it, like, hey, good.
I will say this because that's how we got into Assassin's Creed. But I will say, I mean, everybody at Ubisoft. I mean, I would take Yves Guillemot and sit him down.
He's gone now. Oh no!
Why are his
Michelle on so sorry.
Right.
wire his eyes open and make him watch Ghost of Tsushima, because it's like, this is how you do open world games.
It's a Clockwork Orange, but of video games.
Exactly. But it's done really well. The music is good. The story is good. Tiny, keep playing. Do the side missions. The side missions, they feel like main missions. Because the side missions are all about these different characters that you meet. You need to do those because they are fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic, and it never felt like Assassin's Creed to me. You know, because it was just done so much better. So that makes sense why you guys didn't talk about it, because you other two didn't.
Yeah, I only got it at Christmas. Like I got around the Christmas time. So
I'm sure I will pick it up once it drops under $20. But
I was going to say, I think
whether I play it or not, we'll see. Because I've played so few of the big time Sony titles from the PS4 into the PS5 era, like. That's why I didn't play God of War. But like all these games, I kind of like. I want to play all of them eventually. Like even the Days Gone. Like I kind of want to eventually play that. It's just really not super high priority.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So I mean,
sure. I mean, I've got,
and you have that PS4
literally
collection.
NES games that I still want to eventually play someday.
Yeah, I got to beat Monster Party for the NES too. So the list just grows and grows.
Sure.
Yeah.
thing.
So.
Gotcha.
Anyways, I wanted to ask that question. Makes sense why you guys weren't talking about it, but
Yeah, it does.
it makes perfect sense.
I
like,
will say,
sheesh.
if I ever do get around to playing Ghost of Tsushima, I will bring it up and talk about it.
Okay.
Whether I actually do it or not, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So,
Anything else you'd like to mention, sir?
well, I did. I've just been trying different things. So I did watch Travelers on Netflix, and
did you watch all 3 seasons of it?
I did watch all 3 seasons.
Okay.
I'm like, wow, this is like Quantum Leap, The Matrix, Assassin's Creed, 24, all wrapped up in a ball.
That's a lot of stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's little pieces of that,
it's a
all
lot
in a little ball.
Yeah, it takes from all those pieces, and like it was interesting, and especially like how it ends.
Yeah,
and like yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like
I did too. I was like, this is actually pretty good. I wasn't really expecting it to like it, but I was just kind of bored. I was like, oh, let me check this out. I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah, it does not sell itself even on Netflix. Like you look at it like, I don't know. This sounds like The Border. So but yeah, no, that is something to check out. If you have Netflix, you should check out Travelers.
I would recommend it. I'm like, this is actually pretty good. Other than that, just watching all of Archer.
That show goes like, I lost track of it when they started going to like different themes for their
show. Here's the thing.
They came back around this year.
They came back around. I think it was season 9 or something. It's like Dead Island or something like that. That season.
That many seasons of that show.
That season is.
That's the tropical island season where
I agree. I really skimmed over that one pretty hard.
Yeah, that season is terrible. All the other ones, great. So I just finished the latest season, and that was pretty good too.
Where Archer finally wakes up from his multi-year coma.
Yeah, his 3-year coma, and they comment on it, and things are different, and it's just back to its old self. I mean, it's just written really well. They've always had the good snappy dialogue on there.
Snap, snap.
So, yeah, snap, snap. Yeah, they've always had the good stuff, the good dialogue. So, yeah. I mean, there's been other stuff that I've watched too. It's been so much. I can't even remember. So,
no, understood.
Yeah. So that's that.
Michael.
Just a couple of things real quick. There is a game that came out this year that I purchased and played.
In the year of our Lord 2021?
I feel like that's borderline unheard of. But
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
this
making
game
a
is
note.
called
Typing
Raging
it.
Blasters. It is on Steam. This is
Raging
a
Blasters.
caravan shooter, which is a game that is in the style of Blazing Lasers / Star Soldier / Final Soldier /
slashing.
Soldier Blade. So
Okay.
this is a spiritual sequel to all of those games, done in the same style, sort of 8-bit, sort of 16-bit, kind of a game, and the music in it is very good, but it does not give me the same feels that the PC Engine / TurboGrafx sound chips, I guess, or whatever do. Like it's similar-ish, but it's not the same. Like when you hear NES chip tunes, you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like a Nintendo. It's the same kind of thing. It's like this game does not sound like a TurboGrafx, but it's similar.
It's doing its best impression.
Yeah. And there's some super hard callbacks on like, oh yeah, that's the kind of sound it makes when you know you're doing damage to that ship, or that's the sort of similar sound for when you collect a power up, or when you do this or do that. And the power ups are very similar to Blazing Lasers, but not quite as devastatingly powerful, at least what I've seen so far in the first couple of levels. And that's the thing, is like Blazing Lasers is like, yeah, it's an early PC Engine / TurboGrafx game, and it doesn't show off everything that system can do, but the music is really good, and the power-ups are like, at some point when you've maxed out whatever version of the weapons you've got, you're just like spewing death across the screen. And it's like, yeah, I feel really powerful. In this game, I never got that sense of, oh, I'm just overpowering the bad guys, but it's not been super difficult so far. I'm just playing it on the normal level. But it's pretty well done. It's made by like one guy that's just like an independent dude who I don't know what country he's from, but it's not the US. He is not a US first language speaking person.
A native English speaker.
Correct. That's a much better way of saying that. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Could you
I am
repeat
not
what you
trying
actually
to.
said?
I am not trying to be insulting. I am just
No, I know. It's
grasping for the right words and failing.
been there many times.
But yeah, it's neat. It's like it's on sale right now as a launch price for like $12. So it was, it's I think like the normal price on it is like 15 to when not on sale. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, having some fun with it. I'll probably mention it again. I will definitely play more of it. It just came out like 2-3 days ago, something like that. And the other one, sort of related, that I finally put some serious time into is FX Unit Yuki, the Henshin engine, which came out like 3-4 years ago for the PC Engine CD. And I finally sat down and be like, I am going to play this game more than on the surface level. And I got like 5 levels into it. And I was like, so the basic premise is, this is an independent game. It is an actual PC Engine CD game. It was also released on the Dreamcast, and it is supposedly still coming out for PC. Although years after the fact, even though they just told me that like 2 months ago, I don't know. I have not seen any indication they're still working on it, but apparently they say they are, so whatever. It is supposed to be a game that each level is an homage to a different PC Engine game. So the tutorial level is, if it's based on anything, I'm not exactly sure. Level 1 is Adventure Island. Level 2 was, let me think if that was the one. One of them was Castlevania.
Is there a cotton level?
I was going to say.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yes, level 2 was Cotton, and then level 3 was Castlevania. Level 4 was Lords of Thunder, and level 5 was Shockman, which itself was sort of a bootleg Mega Man.
I remember in theory.
Yeah, the Japanese version was called like Shubi Man or something, which they made a bunch of them, but only one of them.
Shockman is different than Pulse Man?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I know Pulse Man.
I have no idea what Pulse Man is.
Pulse Man was by is the only thing like Creatures Inc. or whatever from Pokemon made.
Oh no, I don't know. But yeah, there were like 4 or 5 Shubi Man games in Japan, and only one of them came out here as Shockman, which I think was Shubi Man 3. And it looks a lot like Mega Man, but a little different, but very, very similar kind of a game. So very disjointed difficulty levels. Like one level would be like, oh, this is not bad at all. And the next one would be like, oh man, I lost like all my lives and I barely got through it. And the next one would be like, I got through the entire level without losing a single life. So
you're just that good.
No. It's just it really is. Yeah, just that sort of inconsistent. But the music is really, really good in this game. The guy who made it, the primary guy, calls himself Saruman. Sarumaru, excuse me, has a YouTube channel, and he has been doing a lot of Polymega streams on his channel because he was one of the ones that got into the beta. But every time he does a video leading up to it, like we're about to come on live, it'll loop the sound of the music track from the first level of the game, not the number 1 level, but the like prologue level, and that music is phenomenal. I'm like, except for the fact that I've now heard it so often because every time I turn his channel, it's like looping again and again. Like that is one of the coolest tracks of that style that I've heard in years. It's right up there with like the first level of the Scott Pilgrim game that Anamanaguchi did. It's awesome. So yeah, I've put some time into it, and I'll probably talk more about exactly why at a later time, because it involves me putting time and money into other things that I'll save for another episode. But yeah, it's cool, and I hope I can finish it, because I got to a level that I found to be much more difficult than the other ones, and yeah, we'll see. I think with some trial and error, I'll get through it. But yeah, more or less, that is what I would like to talk about, what I have been playing. So, Aaron, I see you have your 2 separate categories.
I will do my best to be brief. All right, so last Saturday, Kyle and Brother Nod and Justin and 2 other friends. Anyway, I didn't know, I have a game called Terraforming Mars. There's a digital version of it on Steam, but there's also a mod for it on Tabletop Simulator. So, I mean, I would say we probably played for close to 4 hours, with about an hour being explaining how to play the game. It's fantastic. It's resource management, cards and cubes.
Who doesn't love resource management?
Exactly. I mean, basically the whole point is like you're different corporations who are competing to terraform more of Mars. So you have a certain amount of money that you generate every generation. You have a certain amount of energy that you can generate and transfer over to heat. You can actually put down, like, you can build cities, you can build plants and things like that, and you're earning victory points doing different things. It's really good, and I have the game sitting over here in the box. I think it might be a counterfeit copy of it, but it's complete. Yeah, but Woot was selling bootleg copies of Terraforming Mars like 2 years ago, and I grabbed one.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that.
And I remember I said they gave me my money back. I said, why
yeah, like it might be missing a piece, or
because Amazon was concerned about it.
Exactly. So yeah, but now I know how to play it, and there is a solo mode in it, and I have the Steam version too. So yeah, it's really good. What else? Tumbletown, that came in from Weird Giraffe Games. That's a game where you're building like buildings with dice, but like they might have requirements, so like you can only have, you know, all the dice faces can only add up to like 18 or something like that, and you're building them, and then once you build them, you can put them on this like little street area, and you earn a point for like each requirement that you meet. I love that game. It's fantastic. It's so much fun. I've only played solo, but normally I do things like that. I'll play it solo a bunch of times, get familiar with it, and then show the girls and see if they like it or not. Quacks for Quedlinburg. Showed the youngest one how to play that one the other day, and we played 2 or 3 times since then. You're quack doctors making potions. It's a push your luck game where you're putting ingredients into your pot, and if you have too much of one ingredient, your pot explodes, and then the penalty is you can't either have to like get the money that you would have earned or the victory points that you can't get both. Very colorful, very fun. It's a really good game. One called Forward Thinking. There's these like, what are they, hex-shaped tiles, like 2 letters on each side, and you want to just build words, but you want to get rid of all 12 of your tiles as fast as possible. So we had some fun with that one. Played some Quirky Circuits, the youngest, earlier today. Quirky Circuits is a game where like there's like a cat sitting on like a Roomba. There's like a bee. Basically, there's these different like robots essentially, and everybody has 5 cards, and you want to collectively, without communicating, put down 5 cards to sort of program or direct the robot to do something. So you want to pick up the dust bunnies, loop around the whole like room, and then come back to the starting point.
What's the name of that game that we played before when you say involves no communication? We have to like...
Oh, that was The Mind.
The Mind, yes, where it was just like you just stare at each other and be like, I get an idea what you're thinking.
That's another good
similar
one.
to that?
No,
in the no communication part of it, I mean.
Yes, it is similar. But this one, you have more of a clue because if I put down a card, well, some cards are like yellow and just say like question mark. You don't know what this is. Other cards will like say whether or not it's a direction card or a movement card. So you can, or you kind of want to gauge like, you know, if I put down a card and I want to move like 3 spaces forward or whatever, you kind of anticipate like if the person looks like they're kind of doubtful in what they're doing, maybe like, you know, put your hand out, pause, like, you know, I'll put the card down. But basically, everybody has to put down at least 1 card. You have to have at least 5, and then you flip them all over one at a time, and then you just make the robot do whatever it says. So it's pretty fun. And then like there's like a battery meter, is like how many times you get a chance to do it. So when it runs out, you're out. What else? 3 Sisters as a prototype I have from Motor City Games. This is a roll and write. Sort of modeled after indigenous people planting certain crops to benefit the subsequent crop they will grow. Like you might grow, you know, pumpkins, help benefit corn, help benefit beans. Those are the 3 Sisters. Very thinky, sort of point salad-y kind of roll and write where you're earning points here to check off points here to do this. It's very, I like it. It's I don't know. It's one of those things where sometimes I play it before I go to bed. I don't know. I play a lot of roll and writes before I go to bed. I don't know. They get my brain going and then I go to sleep. But a lot of fun. Another good one, 7 Bridges. Is based on the 7 Bridges of Königsberg, where supposedly there's some old mathematical puzzle, or I guess he has a mathematical puzzle about can you cross the 7 bridges in the city of Königsberg without ever backtracking. Apparently you cannot. But that's not the game. The game is apparently you just can't.
The answer is no.
Exactly. In this game, you have 6 dice which have like a crossroads, 1 line, move 3 straight lines, 2 straight lines, half a line, make a left or right turn. So the whole point, it's a roll and write where you're trying to cross as many bridges as possible, make loops to earn points, because for like every right angle in a closed loop you make on the map, you multiply that by how many bridges you crossed, and that gives you more points. It's another like really kind of thinky roll and write. So it's a lot of fun. It's fun. I played that one first. I was like, this is challenging because it was tough. I Actually, I think the guy who came up with the equation or whatever was Euler, who was actually the E and E equals MC squared, supposedly, where that's named after him or whatever. 17th, was it 16th, 17th, 18th century mathematician, architect.
I thought
whatever.
E was energy. What? What?
E is energy, and
What
E
am I-
equals MC squared.
I don't know. That's what it said in the thing. I don't.
I don't know. It made something.
No, E is, and yes, you are right. I'm misquoting it, but it's EULER. So and he's some famous mathematician.
Oh, well, that's different.
Machi Koro, that's an older game, but I just got it in from Pandasaurus. It's a game where you're rolling a die, and you can embed based on what you roll. You can either activate cards that you have to earn coins, or if other people are playing, if they roll certain numbers, you can activate your cards, and you're trying to earn enough money to build 4 landmarks. Whoever builds their 4 landmarks first wins the game. A lot of expansion. One of those boxes you open it up, you can tell like clearly the intention is that you would buy expansions, put them in the box, really fill it up. It's very fun. I like it. Bittersweet. Earlier last year, maybe like February, we had Matt Hocker on. He runs Cool Games. He made the game Composition with the animals and the letters, mostly animals and the letters. So he has another game called Bittersweet. The theme is like you're opening up a chocolate box and you're you have a yum and yuck. So the yum cards, you get more points for. The yuck cards, you lose points. And if something is neither one of those, you can still earn points from it. So you're drafting cards and revealing cards and trying to get the most points. It started off as a 2-player game. Fantastic. One of my first questions was, can it be expanded to 4 players? And he worked on that. He expanded it to 4 players. And it's really great for a 4-player game. And then Cubitos, played some of that earlier with the youngest. It's like a dice rolling racing game. We're trying to race around. It's like 4 different maps, trying to race around the map. Whoever, if you win the race, you win the race. But it's like a bag building game. So you're rolling dice and moving and then earning money to buy more dice. So your bag grows, and then you can start to pick which dice you want to use to benefit you the most. Very fun game. So digging that. In terms of video games, Tiny, I know you played this one. Cyber Shadow.
I did.
I
It's
like
up on
Cyber.
Game Pass,
I have.
And it was-
I pre-downloaded that one,
and it was available a day early on.
Yeah,
and then I never played it.
I played a little bit earlier today. I beat the first boss. I like it. I mean, it is really, it's doing its best, 16-bit-ish kind of.
It's a Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
it's Ninja Gaiden.
It is. It's funny. Some of the reviews all say this a similar thing where they think the game is great, but I think there's some abilities that they say you don't really get to the end of the game that would have maybe made the earlier parts more fun.
There's a sprint you don't get to. I watched a review, and there's a sprint you don't get to like 2/3 of the way in. I'm like, I was hitting every button, thinking I should be able to go
sprint
faster.
Yeah.
So, it does. Some of the progression seems a little weird.
Yeah, but I like it though. It's still fun. When you beat the first boss, you unlock right after the first boss, you unlock the Shuriken, which is nice. So it's challenging, but the checkpointing is pretty good. It seems like. So I'm gonna stick with it. I don't know. I like it. I didn't really pay attention to the story. I probably should have, but I don't know. The gameplay is really fun. Still playing some Astrobot on PS5. I think I only have like 1 puzzle piece left to get, 1 or 2.
Oh, so you finished all the actual levels and everything?
Yeah. So I'm just going through and cleaning up the puzzles that I somehow missed. Because the one on the beach, I don't know how I didn't see that one under that little wooden thing. I don't know what I was thinking. I kept walking right by it. So
I don't even remember that one. I know the one that threw me off the most, and I knew it was around there somewhere, is the one where the boss fight is that wall that you're shooting arrows at.
yes, yeah.
And then you have to if I turn to the right just when I pass this one little hole,
Yep.
then I can see this thing that I shoot an arrow at, and then it'll give me. I was like, I did not know. That was one of the ones I had to look up.
Yeah. So I'm missing one where like what's it like where the rabbits are? Like it's like right before you get to the one where you go into the monkey suit and you swing and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm missing one. Lance, did you get all the puzzle pieces in Astrobot?
I really love Astrobot. I think it is fantastic. It's one of my favorite games of the year, but I just haven't gone back to do all that. I mean, I found a lot of stuff or whatever, but I don't know. Sometimes I just find going back to do that type of stuff tedious, but
Yeah, I can see that.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah, but
I get addicted to the point where I'm like, it's one last thing. I
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
do
so
it. I
close.
gotta do it.
Yeah, but I mean, it is really, really, it is really good. It's like, yeah, go ahead and make a full game of this. I mean, I know they had the VR game, but
Which
I
is
don't
really
have
good too.
I heard it was great, and I always wanted to play it, but I never bought a VR because I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait to the second iteration of this thing.
I don't know.
So-
I mean, they
Oh,
say
they
they're
are.
making one.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they're committed to that.
Okay, cool. My adapter
Yeah.
just came in today, so I can hook up the VR to the PS5.
Oh, did they tell you it was coming before
Nope,
it showed
just
up?
showed up. I got an email
Ah.
saying, "Hey, we'll let you know," and then it just showed up today. I was like, "Great."
Well, then I guess there's still a chance for me because I never
Really?
heard a thing.
Oh,
I really like how the games are. They're getting better.
oh,
I'm like, okay, I believe in this VR thing.
it's legit.
So-
Like Tiny, and Lance, if you get it, Until You Fall, the sword play is really good. I mean, it is real. You are playing Infinity Blade. It's
Okay.
really good, and the boxing games are really good. Paper Beast, what I talked about last week, it's really good.
Yep.
There's a lot of good stuff out there for that.
Yeah, my uncle, he went and bought it the first day, and I'm like, I was so skeptical, but then I played. I was like, oh man, I think it was that London Heist game that I was like, okay, yep, this
There's some
is
good
it.
stuff on there.
Now, there's that other one that's by the team that did the London Heist. I forgot what it's called, but it's supposed to be even better. I forgot the name of it, but it's by the
It's
same.
a crime kind of
Yeah,
thing. Okay, I don't know.
I was wondering if any of you guys have played it.
Tiny, do you have
it's-
Job Simulator for PSVR?
I do have jobs in PSVR.
Do you have my copy of Job Simulator? Because I was looking for it. I was like, I thought I had Job Simulator, but then maybe I
No,
don't.
I think I own a digital copy of it.
No, I thought I.
Are you talking about Blood and Truth?
That's probably
Yes. Yes. Is that any good?
I have not
haven't played it.
Blood and Truth.
Oh man, I heard it was excellent.
I
I
did
haven't-
get
I
one
haven't
called
seen it either.
Swordsman VR in, and Mike, it reminded me of you because you used to play the what was it, the Deadliest Warrior?
Oh my goodness!
It's like
Yeah,
that in
Deadliest
VR.
Warrior. Oh, see, I just love the concept of that. Not so much the game itself, but this idea of like, I don't know, let's just pit a guy with a fully automatic assault rifle against a naked dude with holding a spear. Like, who would win in a fight? I don't know. Really? Let's actually have them fight to
Does he
figure
have
this one out.
bullets? Because I don't know.
Let's figure out who would win between an armed nuclear bomb and a naked 50,000-year-old dude
I mean, this just sounds
strapped
like
to a tree,
multiplayer Civilizations.
right?
No, this tip has tanks. This tip has spears.
Let's see what happens. All right, I'll run the rest of these. Playing more Sackboy Adventures, very fun. I love platformers, and it's one of those things where I'll just have to jump right in. If I miss something, I got to go in to find it right then, before I can move on. That's PS5 stuff. Playing a game called Glyph on the Switch. No, I don't want to say like a Marble Madness because it's not that, but you're this little ball and you're in the desert and you can like jump, or you earn like a double jump, you earn a glide, and you're trying to just maneuver your way through these levels. You touch the ground, you blow up, you burn up, whatever. Oh, that's pretty fun. It controls really well. The physics seem pretty cool. Turrican Flashback. Playing a little bit of that. I did
What is
not
that
play
for?
many Turrican games back in the day. I knew of it.
Mike, if this sounds like something you might be interested in, you got an email about it.
Oh, did I?
If you can get into your.
I'll keep an eye out, I guess.
Are you into Turrican, Mike? Is that what
I wouldn't say I'm into Turrican, but I played the original game on TurboGrafx, which was also an Amiga game, and what is it, Super Turrican 2, I think, came
It was Mega Turrican and then
with the
Turrican's Revenge.
I don't even remember what system now.
Turrican,
Or maybe it came with the EverDrive, or I don't know. It came in like a bundle or something. To be honest, I don't think Turrican games are very good. At least the ones I played.
They're not, because they use up to jump. So
yeah, that's automatically
you can
bad.
remap the buttons, and this version has I think it has cheats built in, and there's a rewind button, which you kind of need because and you can't shoot up. Well, if up was jump, then clearly not. But you can't
shoot up, stupid.
Like, you have this wonderful spread gun, but you can't just look up and shoot. It's just like, what are we doing here? So anyway, I'm playing a game called Duck Souls on the Switch. Quick single screen levels, stupidly difficult. Well, ramping up in difficulty. I don't know, it's cute. It's kind of fun. Playing Mahjong Adventure on the Switch. That's pretty fun. That's how I played an actual Mahjong game. Like, I play games that are based on Mahjong. Like, I have a copy of a game called Dragon Castle, which is heavily inspired by Mahjong, but I have it on Steam and the Switch. No, I have Steam and mobile platforms. Very fun game. You're trying to, you're basically using Mahjong rules, but you're taking the tiles and putting them on a board in front of you, and you're trying to make formations with it to earn victory points. So, like, the more similar tiles you have in a formation, the more points you earn.
Huh. Okay.
It's really good, actually. What else? Dicey Dungeons, roguelike. A lot of, basically, the characters you are die, and just going through levels, defeating enemies. It's really good. I have a video up on the site now. It's a lot of fun. Really like Dicey Dungeons. Billion Beat. This game is like, how do I describe? It's like it looks like Punch Out, but it doesn't really play. Like, companies that have tried to do Punch Out often, this is not companies, but like developers, they're often missing something where it's like, if the characters aren't humanoid, like if they look too weird, it's hard to anticipate.
It's tough to read their
it's just something off about it. It's
like the 8-bit uncanny valley. I guess
it's not even an 8-bit. It's like a Flash game, kind of. I don't know. It's not that good.
But it's just tough to read the non-human kind of characters,
and they all kind of look the same, which doesn't help. So it's like there's not really like this variety, but then there's not. If that makes sense. And the last thing, and I'll shut up, is Wrath, Aeon of Ruin. That's
a first-person shooter.
Yes. I normally use this Logitech Marble mouse, and I actually had to hook up like a regular mouse to play it. It's pretty fun. You hook up these little things, you can save. You can kind of save anywhere if you have an item that lets you do it, which, you have a limited supply of those. It's pretty neat, so I'm enjoying that. So that's it for me. So I rambled a lot, but I'm done.
Okay. I'll run through mine real quick. I am, I think, halfway through Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the re-release on Switch, and that has all its content in it.
Did you play that before when it was on 360 or PS3?
I also own it on, I believe, PS3.
I have it on 360.
But I don't think I had all the content. I think I only bought one of the 2 DLC packs that come for it. I'm enjoying it a lot. But I also remember you talking about it last week, Mike. So I didn't distribute my time across characters. I just have Knives Chow at level 20 now.
So listening to the Player One podcast this past week,
right?
Phil had some really good advice that I didn't even know about as far as leveling up your characters as fast as possible. I was like, I wish I knew that when I played that game back in the day, because I replayed that first level well over a dozen times.
I was going to say, I spent two or three hours on the first level, really, at a higher difficulty, and then like once I had enough of a level grind, I went down to an easier difficulty.
So what Phil outlined in that episode was you only need to play the first level 2 times in a row, and then go to some secret thing, and then spend the money you've earned to buy something that will make your character that you're playing 50 levels higher or something like that. And then from there, earn the money to unlock a bunch of discounted other things that will make the rest of the game much quicker and easier. I'm like, I just wish I knew how that worked, because I played so many hours, and the only character that I wouldn't even completely, but like leveled up enough that I felt like good about was Scott. And then everybody else was like, I'm not doing this again. That was too many hours. It's just a very similar problem I had with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I was like, I don't want to level everybody up. I just want to get through the game.
Gotcha. So, yeah. Did we lose Mike?
So that was Scott Pilgrim.
Weren't you talking about what you were playing, sir? Sorry.
Oh, I was. Anyway. I also started playing Hitman 3. I'm about probably halfway through. I will say, I'll start with this. Hitman 3 can take in the content from Hitman 1 and 2. But it's a wonky system to do it. You have to go into the previous games and download what's called the Legacy Pack. And then that will import that into the new game. And I don't quite understand why, but whatever. But Hitman
legal
3,
reasons.
I mean, that's probably part of it, especially that they've now changed. But the first one was published by Square Enix, the second one was by Warner Brothers, and now IO is just publishing it themselves this time. Mm-hmm. So, that honestly, it is probably just the case. But I will say this: there's a really cool. The second mission is based on Knives Out, and I thought that was a real cool. It's a matriarch and the family's at the house and people are betraying each other. Like, it's a real cool level. And I really enjoyed it. And there are obviously multiple ways to go about taking care of your target. So me and Mike played some Call of Duty. We had fun.
We did.
So I am up to always play. Like, we can play Modern Warfare. We can play Cold War.
We played a little bit of the what's it called? Prop game or something? Prop Hunt. That's the one. Hunt. Where you get to play as a plastic chair or a wooden pallet or a garbage can, sliding around the map trying to hide from people who are trying to murder you.
And then you flip and they hide.
Yes, and then you can be like, I don't want to be a chair anymore. I want to turn into a tree. And you can do that, but you can't go back.
It was
hope that you found a spot where it's not conspicuous looking. Like, don't be a tree in the middle of a house, because everybody would be like, why is this tree growing up through the ground?
It was definitely an interesting session.
It is.
I did not know that option was there.
I don't know how many Treyarch games back that started, but that was definitely in Black Ops 4. And now it's in the current one.
Got it. And the last one I'll talk about, I played through half of Jurassic Park, the game. This is the Telltale game that came out.
You really like that game?
Probably like a decade ago. I think this game is better than a lot of people give it credit for. I will say I think the console version had some real problems. Like, all of the button prompts were tiny. But like, this story takes parts from both the books and the movie. So like, the weird thing is one of your main protagonists is the guy that they meet out in the field where the Triceratops is sick, and he's in the Jeep with Ellie. He's the chief veterinarian for that park. But he looks nothing like the guy in the movie. But they also they show off. There were supposed to be like theme park rides at Jurassic Park, like a roller coaster and whatnot. This is the first instance they show aquatic dinosaurs. Like there's a Mosasaurus in here before Jurassic World and all that stuff, because they had planned in the book, they talk about, hey, we're going to have a whole aquatic feature. So it's an interesting story, and it's a continuation of the first Jurassic Park movie. Like some of the characters' motivations is to find the stupid Barbasol can that Nedry loses, so that they can get it back to get it to whatever the Biosyn, which is the competitor of InGen in the universe. So, Dachshund. We got
Dachshund. Nobody cares.
So, and they do the exact same scene. It's just on a phone in this one.
Then is it the same scene?
I mean, it's a very similar scene with a character that also dies to a Dilophosaurus. So there are a lot of, let's say, touch points. They also introduced a couple dinosaurs that weren't in the movie, like a Troodon, which they talk about in the book. Oh, you can see its eyes glowing, and its bite contains venom. So and they're in there. So it's a cool. I mean, it's a Telltale game. So set your expectations. It's all quick time events. That's all the game is. And people die horrifically at points. One of the first things is your main protagonist and his daughter are in Jurassic Park. The power goes out. They're trying to get back to the center. Oh, there's a Triceratops out on the out of its paddock. He tries to get the Triceratops back in. T-Rex shows up. They're fighting, and I miss a button prompt while he's trying to get around that fight, and he gets impaled by the Triceratops and then eaten by the T-Rex. That both things happen almost simultaneously.
It's almost like the woman who was watching the kids in the first Jurassic World.
I mean, she went on to be Lex Luthor's sister in Supergirl, but the actress. All right. So, but yes. That lady, I mean, a lot of people in Jurassic World die unnecessarily.
Hers was pretty egregious.
Yes.
Did she lose a bet? What is going on here?
So they just wanted to show you the Moses. Anyway, Jurassic World has a lot of problems. Why does the Mosasaurus jump out to eat the shark? But it obviously can just jump out of the water and eat people on Main Street, because that's how that movie ends. So why doesn't it do that regularly? Anyway. Anyway. But yeah, this game is, I don't even think you buy this game, I assume, anymore, with the licensing and how Telltale imploded and whatnot. So if you have access to it, or you can get to the Xbox game, play it. I really enjoyed it. It continues the Jurassic Park story. So, but with that, those are probably the games I've been playing. So,
all right. We're getting pretty long here, but just a couple things we can mention quick on the way out. So you all heard about Microsoft increasing the price of games with gold, or Xbox Live Gold,
and then decreasing the price.
Yep. After the backlash came, and it was never mind.
So.
But apparently, not that this is news, but Satya Nadella and a bunch of other executives' bonuses and things are supposedly directly tied to the number of the growth for Xbox Live Ultimate. So increasing the price of gold would make Ultimate seem like a better deal, which would get more people to subscribe, which then makes the company money and also benefits them in getting them closer to getting their bonuses. So, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. Atari has partnered with Plex to come up with Plex Arcade, or a streaming service.
Because Lord knows you can't play Atari games anywhere else.
It's weird. All the images I've seen are people holding PS4 controllers while playing this. I'm confused at that. seems, let's say, an overly complicated controller for a lot of the games they're talking about. You have the GameStop stock stuff on here.
Yeah,
there's a lot to unpack there.
It really is. But the short story is the short selling. Well, I'll let you tell it actually. So if I didn't go to Reddit and read anything about it, Mike, maybe you did. Well, I did not.
Okay, so hedge funds for the last 6 months have been forecasting that GameStop is going to go under, and so they shorted the stock, and that means they anticipate they're going to fail. They shorted stock so much, especially Citron and Melvin, 2 hedge funds, that they now have more shorts than actual number of issued stocks for GameStop. In addition, this Reddit group and whatnot have been saying, hey, we think GameStop is undervalued. So they started buying up the stocks. And as long as they continue to hold the stocks they have purchased, the shorts can't be closed. And the hedge funds will continue to hemorrhage money. Which, like, these people, like, you have listed down as gambling. It 100% is, because it assumes that someone is going to get left holding this bag.
Oh yeah,
and it's most likely going to be the same people that like didn't realize they had to pay taxes on their bitcoins a couple years ago, or like it's going to be it's also going to be these hedge funds, and like there's some BS that's going on. Like I know. Pratt Whitney and a couple other trading firms like stopped trading on GameStop and AMC and a couple others because they called it irregularities in the market, but other people could point to they are also tied to hedge funds and they would probably not like to not have money anymore. So I mean there's going to be regulations, and like this isn't as simple as an us versus them kind of thing. And because this is going to go back to like what you saw for like the tech bubble. And again, there are going to be people that are going to lose out on this. But right now, like the feel good stories everyone keeps telling it is Reddit and everyday people are using the same trading functionalities that a lot of these traders have. And they have realized the faults in the system, and that's allowing them to make money as an individual over hedge funds and Wall Street.
Well, as an individual, because a group has decided to all do this incredibly dangerous thing with their money.
Right. Well, I mean, you got to understand, like, I think this is kind of indicative of that group from what I've read and whatnot. And like, it's indicative of a lot of people I knew that were day traders and whatnot, that like they are looking to score big. And like they are willing to risk stuff that, like I'm probably never going to take all of my life savings out of all of where I have it and put it on black. And that's kind of what these people are doing.
That is exactly what these people are doing. And to try to lessen the risk / increase the reward, what I was reading on the Reddit today is like people just encouraging further purchasing no matter what. Say, don't worry, your $350 that you're spending on a single share of GameStop stock today will travel up to $5,000 as long as we all just keep doing this.
Right. It relies on
somebody has to be holding this at the end, though.
Right. Which is why I say, as enticing as the concept of quadrupling / tenfold times your money is, be careful with what you do with your life savings. Please,
any
people.
savings.
I mean,
well, no. If you've got a little bit of money that you can afford to play around with, and you've done some homework, then that's being a somewhat responsible adult. Do not take money that you are relying on.
Yeah.
For for what you need to survive for the future and for the short term, and throw it away on GameStop stock because some idiot on Reddit
told
said,
you to do it.
we're all going to jump in a missile that's heading straight first into the surface of Mars.
So,
And as
I'm
we
gonna
talked
say-
about before, rockets to Mars when you want to be the first one to die on the surface of Mars is not the best way to handle all of your money / well-being.
I'm going to say you're an adult and do whatever the hell you want with your money. Like, if you want to take this risk, go for it.
Yes, but also please understand what the risk is.
Like, they're like, someone's
your own
going to,
sake.
I mean, someone's going to get stuck holding the bag. Now, part of it is these hedge funds have to get stuck holding the bag because
that is a huge part of why
they
these people are doing
overshorted
that.
the stock. Like, I don't understand. I had a reasonable, I would like to say a reasonable understanding of how the stock market works. I had never realized you could sell more shorts than shares available.
Why
Like
is
that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And that's what, like, ultimately this all boils down to is that there are not enough shares for these hedge funds to close their positions.
These gamers have found an exploit and they are willing to hammer on it long after it is useful.
Well, so and the bigger thing is going to be like what happens when they start targeting stocks of like companies that people care about and like don't feel like are the devil.
It's not good. Yeah.
Like AMC or GameStop are industries that are already hurting. Like they are vulnerable. They were already in a bad spot. Like this is actually could be beneficial for GameStop. Like GameStop could, in theory, leverage this expenditure to purchase, let's say, more sustainable businesses, like they at one point did with Cricket and whatnot.
They could also
Think geek.
get themselves in a much deeper grave.
They were already in a grave. Like,
But I mean, that's what I'm like.
like this is a godsend to them. They were trading in cents in December.
I do not agree with that statement. As an article that I read from someone else that was a CEO of something in Canada that not exactly to this extreme, but something somewhat similar happened to them. His advice to GameStop was, do not look at your stock prices and feel like this has any bearing on your company.
Oh, yes. I mean, I agree with that. This should also, again, remind everyone that the stock market does not reflect the health of a country's economy
At all.
Like that is not what's being reflected here. But what it does do is it gives GameStop a lifeline to potentially save themselves if they were
moves.
looking to acquire other businesses.
But it's all debt. Sure, you can take a loan and purchase something that will be beneficial to your overall something or whatever. But the influxation of cash, which is gonna come due real soon, is not a great measure of anything other than an opportunity to take a shot at the sun. Like if you want to go, I'm gonna fly so high that my wax stuck onto my body wings are gonna take me, then
I go with a Daedalus reference. Like, is this where we're going here? Like,
if that's the
I thought it
name
was
of
Icarus, but yeah.
well,
Yeah,
isn't Icarus the son of Daedalus?
whichever one fell because he flew too close to the sun.
That
Yeah,
would be
it-
Icarus. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Icarus, but it's because he's told by Daedalus, "Hey, don't." Anyway, whatever.
Point being is, if you get like overconfident and do something stupid, you're gonna make yourself in a
If they
worse
don't do it,
position.
if they don't do anything, they're going to go out of business. Like that's the ultimate answer for GameStop. Like,
That's
so-
fair.
like it doesn't. Again, it's tough to feel bad for the hedge funds.
It's
So in other
real
words,
tough
it's
to feel
handing
bad.
them
Hedge
the
funds.
option of a Hail Mary.
Right, like that. But yeah, this has given them some options they did not have a month
Okay.
ago.
Right. That I can wrap my head around.
So, but like, and it's tough, but it is a, hey, there probably should be ways to look at this because not only have we seen this now? And like, obviously with social media and how we can do this, but like, this does have some reminiscence of like the tech boom and like Yahoo.
Yeah.
I was reading a Market Watch article about like Yahoo message boards, and like people went to jail for the recommendations they were doing at that time. Like there are parts where we'll see what comes of this. I don't think anyone's going to go through Reddit to try to figure out who like Superman 6941 is, but just made up that name. Just made it up. But anyway,
I thought it was
like
going to be 69,420, but still,
we probably got to move on.
Yeah,
from the
we should get out of here.
Stuff, but it's going to be interesting.
And then Kevin Hart has been announced to be Roland in the Borderlands movie.
why is there a Borderlands movie?
Roland must look very different than I remember. Not him being 4 feet tall.
I don't care about a Borderlands movie. I just don't care. To me that's an Uwe Boll level quality of video game movie.
I mean,
just don't care.
It could just be like 4 people go hunting for an alien vault and like.
Yeah, I don't care if it's Jumanji crossed with the 80s animated D&D series. Like, I don't care.
That's pretty good, actually.
Okay. I mean, so let's start here. Mike, I'm not shocked by this.
At all.
So, like, at all. So, and that's fine.
That
Understood.
Fair enough, but like this sounds like the opposite of interesting to me.
All this is
like
an
I'm
announcement of an
actively
actor.
like, if this comes out, I will walk.
You weren't
around
gonna watch it anyway.
Exactly. 100%.
Anyway, yeah.
Well,
yep. So anyway, Kevin Hart is playing Roland in that movie. So.
Well, we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. Lance, I hopefully you are still with us. We have not bored you.
Yeah. No, you haven't bored me at all.
Other end, just because we talked too long.
No, it's been all good. It's been all good. I mean, I talked a lot. I'm nobody special. So yeah, just thanks for having me on again. I appreciate that.
I'm glad that
thanks
you
for coming on.
You were free. I know that the notice was kind of short, but it's been good to talk to you and catch up.
Yeah, I feel kind of privileged because I know you guys had been gone for a while, so it's like, oh, okay, well, they asked me to be on. All right, cool. So it's all right. Thank you.
Oh, you are very welcome, sir. All right, Mike.
I, as always, encourage anyone who is eligible to donate blood and anyone who has pets to have them spayed or neutered. And that's really all I got.
All right.
So what do you got, Tiny?
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
No worries.
I was just going to say, hey, it is a new year, and the kids could use your help. So you can go to extra-life.org, sign up, and create your own team, or you can come join the GameEnthus team at extra-life.org/team/GameEnthus. And if you can't do that, go there, pick your favorite GameEnthus personality, and donate. 100% of the money goes directly to the children's hospital of their choice. So, yeah. And I guess one last thing I'll mention, our goal is $18,000 this year because that's how much we have left to hit $100,000 raised. So,
ooh,
wow.
So yeah. So
we'll
we have
see how close we can get.
Doing big things. Okay.
So, yeah, but that would put GameEnthus at $100,000 raised for Children's Hospital since 2010. I want to say so yeah. So, donate.
Get to donate.
So, and we'll be talking more about it through the year. So, Aaron?
Lance, thank you once again for your time. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah. No problem. Pleasure was all mine.
Good. For those
really appreciate it.
Glad you're here. For those listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for pinging us when you thought that we'd stop doing it. We do appreciate those things. That lets us know that people out there care if we continue to do this, which is, it's because, we care, but it's good to know that other people care as well. That's what's up.
Yes.
Mike, Tony, thank both of you. If you want to leave us feedback, you can do so at podcast@GameEnthus.com, Tiny415 at GameEnthus.com. It's also the GameEnthus.com, and Aaron at GameEnthus.com. You get the idea. You can also leave us a voicemail at 202-573-7686. And yeah, you follow us on Twitter at Tiny415, at AssaultSuit, at Indifferent, Second Eyes 1. And yeah, I think that's it. So stay safe, wear a mask, have a great weekend, be considerate of other people.
And we'll be back to talk to you next week.
We will be back next week.
Yeah. So.
Sounds like a winner.
It does.
Cool.
It does. All right. That's it.
All right.
Done. Have a good night.